What you think you know might be wrong. Have you ever been totally sure about something, then found out later you were wrong? It's a weird feeling, right? That strong belief, something you just knew was true, suddenly changes? This isn't about being wrong in a bad way. It's about how we understand the world and how that understanding can grow. For a long, long time, people believed the earth was flat. It seemed right when you looked around. But some ancient thinkers started to wonder. They watched shadows, saw ships disappear over the horizon. Slowly, the idea of a round Earth took hold. Later, most people were sure the sun moved around the Earth. It felt like common sense. But scientists like Copernicus and Galileo looked closer. They showed us the Earth actually circles the sun. Their ideas seemed wild, but they changed everything we knew about our place in the universe. Here's a common example. Maybe you think a certain food is super healthy because everyone says so. Think about low-fat foods. For years, people were told fat was bad, so they bought low-fat cookies, thinking they were good choices. But over time, scientists learned more. They found out some fats are okay, and sugar could be a bigger problem. What we knew about healthy eating changed. It wasn't about being dumb before. It was just about getting more information. This idea that what you think you know might be wrong is not scary. It's actually a way to find deeper truth. It means you should always be curious. It means you should question things, even your own strong beliefs. It teaches you to be open, to listen, and to always be ready to learn something new. The world is big. Our understanding is always just starting. Being okay with changing your mind shows strength. It means you truly want to understand. Question mark. Why grown-ups don't always tell you everything? Have you ever wondered why grown-ups sometimes keep things from you? Not big, scary secrets, but maybe parts of a story or a truth that feels incomplete. It's curious, this idea of what's said and what's left unsaid. Often, it's not because they want to trick you or hide something important forever. Here's the thing. Sometimes, grown-ups don't tell you everything because they're trying to protect you, not just from danger, but from ideas that might feel too heavy or confusing right now. They might want you to experience things for yourself, learning through doing. Or they might simply believe some deep lessons are best understood over time as you grow. Think about how knowledge has always been passed down. In ancient times, a skilled craftsperson wouldn't teach an apprentice every trick on the first day. They'd show one step at a time, letting them master each part before moving on. There was a quiet understanding that wisdom needed time to settle, like water finding its own level. Some truths are like that, too vast or complicated to grasp at once. They need years of living, of seeing the world to understand their weight. It's not about keeping you in the dark, but waiting for the right kind of light. Consider learning to ride a bike. Your parent doesn't tell you about every scrape or fall before you even sit on it. They show you how to balance, how to pedal, how to stop. Here's what happened. They give you just enough information to get started, then let you discover the rest as you go, with support close by. They don't lecture on physics before you even try. Or think about how our brains work. A teacher wouldn't start a fifth grader on all the complex details of neurons. They build up year after year with simpler ideas first, preparing you for more. So when a grown-up doesn't share every detail, it often comes from a deep place of care and trust. It's about letting you grow into understanding at your own pace. It's a quiet belief in your ability to learn, to question, and eventually to grasp those deeper meanings for yourself when you're truly ready. They trust you will get there. And a lie of always be happy. Have you ever felt like you have to be happy, like all the time? We see ads, social media, even some well-meaning adults tell us, just be happy. But here's the thing, always being happy isn't real. It's a kind of lie. Our lives aren't meant to be one flat line of joy. Emotions are like the weather. You get sun, but also clouds and rain, and every part is needed. Think about it this way. For thousands of years, people knew that life had its ups and downs. Old thinkers, like the Stoics in ancient Greece and Rome, understood that feelings like sadness, worry, and even anger were part of being human. They didn't try to get rid of these feelings. Instead, they learned to deal with them, to understand what they meant. No one from long ago expected to feel excited and bubbly every single moment of their lives. Here's what I found. Imagine a song that only had one note, played over and over. It wouldn't do much of a song, right? Or a painting with only one color. It would be boring, flat. Our emotions are like the different notes in a song or the many colors in a painting. You need the low notes, the quiet moments, even the sharp ones to make the whole piece rich and full. Sadness can teach us about what we truly care about. Frustration can show us where we need to try harder or what we need to change. So maybe the real goal isn't to chase constant happiness. Maybe it's about accepting all the feelings that come and go, like waves in the ocean. It's about knowing that it's perfectly okay not to be okay sometimes. And that simple truth makes our human experience deeper, more real, and in its own quiet way, much more beautiful. And your phone isn't your friend, really. Have you ever thought about what your phone really is to you? It's always there, in your hand or pocket, ready to show you anything, connect you to anyone. It feels like a constant companion, almost like a friend.
Right? But here's the thing. It's not. Not in the way a true friend is. A real friend cares about you. They listen. They share. They want what's best for your heart and your mind. Your phone, though? It doesn't care about your well-being. It just wants your attention. All the time. And it's really, really good at getting it. It's built that way. Think about how people lived long, long ago, before screens. When someone wanted to learn something new, they had to go find a book, or talk to an elder, or just sit quietly and think. Being bored wasn't a problem. It was often when cool new ideas popped up. That effort of seeking, of just letting thoughts drift, built a kind of inner strength, a mental muscle for focus and deep thinking. Now, your phone gives you answers instantly. It's like having a super fast calculator for your brain. That's really useful for quick tasks, of course. But if you use a calculator for every single math problem, even the easy ones, what happens to your ability to do mental math on your own? That skill slowly gets weaker. Your phone is like that for your mind. It's a tool, a powerful one. But if we let it do all our thinking for us, all our remembering, all our connecting, we might slowly lose some very important parts of ourselves, like the ability to truly be alone with our thoughts, or to connect deeply with another person without a screen in between. It doesn't share your secrets or understand your feelings. It just feeds you what you ask for, and often, what it wants you to see. So, maybe it's time to remember who's truly in charge. You. And to decide how much of your valuable time and your attention you truly want to give away. Why grades aren't the whole story. Have you ever stopped to wonder what a grade truly tells us? Is a single letter or number on a report card really the full picture of your learning? Here's the thing. Grades are important tools. They help teachers see if you got the main ideas. They help schools track progress. But here's the problem. They're just one small way of looking at a much bigger, more wonderful story. Your story. Think about it this way. For thousands of years, people learned without grades. An apprentice learning from a master didn't get an A for hammering correctly. They learned by doing, by watching, by failing and trying again, until they mastered a skill. Ancient thinkers didn't get a B in philosophy. They spent lives asking questions and searching for truth. The idea of a formal grade is actually quite new. It came when schools grew large, needing a quick way to measure many students. It was about making things efficient, not truly understanding a person's depth. Imagine learning to play a musical instrument. You might get a grade on a performance. That grade shows if you played a song correctly. But it doesn't show the hours you practiced, or the joy when a difficult piece clicked. It doesn't show your passion for music. The real learning isn't just that perfect performance. It's the journey, the effort, and the connection you make with the music. So, while grades have a place, remember they can't measure everything important. They don't tell us about your curiosity, your kindness, your ability to solve problems, or your courage to try something difficult. They don't capture your unique imagination or how you see the world. Learning isn't just about what you write down on a test. It's about who you are becoming, the skills you build, and the deep understanding you find within yourself. That quiet, internal growth is a treasure far beyond any number. The myth of being normal. What if everything we've been told about normal
isn't quite right. We often feel like there's one standard way to be, one type of person everyone should aim to become. It's like there's a secret rule book for how to think, act, and feel. But here's the thing. This idea of normal is mostly a story we've made up. It's not a fixed truth, but a changing idea, defined by the people and times around us. For centuries, societies have tried to define normal. Ancient philosophers talked about ideal citizens, but their idea of normal was very different from ours. What was normal in ancient Greece, how people dressed or behaved, would seem strange today. Even what was normal in a small village hundreds of years ago differs from a big city now. This shows us normal isn't universal. It's a concept that shifts with culture, location, and time. It's not a natural truth, but what a group of people decide is typical at a certain moment. Think about how different we all are. Some people are quiet and thoughtful, others are loud and energetic. Some love math, others adore art. Our brains are wired in unique ways. There isn't one normal way to learn, or one normal personality, just like there's no single, normal height or hair color for everyone. Imagine if everyone had to like the same music. It would be a very dull world, and it just doesn't work that way. So if normal is just a made-up idea changing constantly, what does that mean for you? It means you don't have to waste energy trying to fit into a mold that isn't yours. Your unique way of seeing the world, your unique feelings, your unique strengths, these are not problems to be fixed. They are what make you, you. Embracing your true self, with all its differences, might be the most genuine way to live in a world that's always putting labels on things. We often see stuff, the new cover of How Ads Trick Your Brain. Have you ever wondered why you suddenly want something after seeing an ad for it, even if you didn't know it existed a minute before? It's a common feeling. Ads aren't just showing you products, they're telling you stories, and here's how it works. They try to link deep human feelings to the things they sell. Think about it like this. Ads don't just say, buy this soda. They show people laughing, playing, having an amazing time, all while holding that soda. They want you to feel that if you drink this soda, you'll also be happy, popular, or cool. It's not about the taste, it's about the feeling. This idea isn't new, though. For thousands of years, people have tried to persuade others. Ancient philosophers even studied how to move people's emotions with words. Today, it's often an image on your screen trying to get you to buy a shoe. But here's the problem. What these ads sell is rarely a product. They sell an idea, an emotion. They sell happiness, belonging, or success. They tap into our natural human desires, the wish to be liked, to be a notion,
Safe to feel good. They connect these deep, true feelings to a simple thing you can buy. For example, a sneaker ad often shows someone achieving something great, running fast, looking strong. It suggests that these shoes will give you that same power, that same ability. So, the real trick isn't in showing you something you need. It's in making you believe a product can fill an empty space inside you. It's a subtle whisper, telling you that buying this will make you feel whole. Understanding this isn't about hating ads or ignoring everything around you. It's about gaining a quiet power. It's about learning to see the difference between a true inner feeling and a manufactured suggestion. It means asking yourself, does this truly connect to what I value, or is it just a picture trying to borrow my emotions? This simple question can help you walk through the world with a clearer mind, choosing what truly nourishes you, instead of just reacting to what shines brightest. It helps you decide what is truly meaningful for you, not what someone else wants you to believe. Truth. It's more complicated than you think. Have you ever stopped to wonder about truth? We often think of truth as something solid, something you can just know. Like, the sky is blue or 2 + 2 = 4. Simple, right? But here's the thing. What if truth isn't always that simple? What if it's more like a puzzle with many pieces, or a story told from many different viewpoints? For centuries, philosophers have wrestled with this idea. Ancient Greek thinkers, long before electricity or phones, spent their lives asking, what is true? They realized that what seemed true to one person might not feel true to another. It's not about lying, it's about how we see the world. Our experiences, feelings, even the words we use, can color our understanding of what's real. Imagine two friends watching a soccer game. One supports the home team, the other the visitors. When a player falls, one shouts, "Foul! He tripped him on purpose." The other sees the same moment and says, "No way. He just slipped. It was accidental." Both believe they see the truth, but their emotions and loyalties shape what they see.
The truth of that moment isn't one clear thing. It's woven with perspective, feeling, and what they want to believe. This idea means we need to be thoughtful. It means pausing before we decide something is absolutely true for everyone. It means understanding that others might have different truths based on their experiences. The world is full of layered truths, waiting for us to explore them with open minds. And that's not confusing, but a quiet invitation to see things more deeply. Why being bored is actually good. Ever feel that restless, twitchy feeling when there's nothing fun to do? Maybe your phone battery died or the internet is out. That's boredom, and we usually try to run from it. We grab a new screen, find something to watch, trying to fill that space. But here's the thing. What if being bored isn't a problem? What if it's actually a hidden gift, a pathway to something important? People have understood that quiet moments are powerful. Think about great thinkers from history, like ancient philosophers. They didn't have constant entertainment in their pockets. Instead, they had long stretches of quiet time. They called it contemplation or reflection. It was in those moments, when their minds weren't busy, that brilliant ideas came to life. They learned the mind needs space to wander and connect thoughts. Imagine you're just sitting on a bus, looking out the window with no headphones, no phone. At first, you might feel a little antsy. But then, something interesting happens. Your mind starts to roam. Maybe you suddenly remember a conversation and understand it better. Or you come up with a solution to a problem you've been stuck on in school. Perhaps a new story idea pops into your head. This isn't wasted time. This is your brain working behind the scenes. It's like your mind is sorting files, making new connections. When it's not constantly fed new information, it makes sense of what's already there. So, the next time you feel that empty, bored feeling creeping in, don't rush to fill it. See it as an invitation. An invitation for your own thoughts to emerge. A chance for new ideas to bloom from deep within you. It's not about having nothing to do. It's about making space for something new. That quiet, bored feeling might just be your mind preparing for its next big leap. Have you ever found yourself nodding along, saying yes to something you really didn't want to do? Maybe it was extra homework, or an invite you felt pressured to accept, or just one more task piling up. It happens to everyone. But here's a deep thought. Sometimes the most powerful word we can learn to use is no. It might seem simple, just 2 letters. But no is more than a word. It's a boundary. It's a quiet act of choosing yourself. When you say no, you're not being rude. You're drawing a line that says, this is where I end and where my own space begins. Thinkers throughout history, from ancient philosophers to modern psychologists, have understood this. They knew that understanding what you won't do is just as important as knowing what you will. It's about knowing your limits and respecting them. Imagine your time and energy as a small glass, like the one you drink water from. Every request, every demand, every yes you give is like pouring a little bit more into that glass. If you keep saying yes to everything, your glass will overflow. You'll feel drained, tired, maybe even resentful. But here's how it works. When you say no to something, you are simply saying, that doesn't fit in my glass right now. You are protecting that space, that energy, for what truly matters to you. You are choosing what fills your glass. So, saying no is not about being difficult. It's about being deliberate. It's a way to guard your peace, your focus, and your inner world. It allows you to protect your true self, making sure there's enough room for your own growth, your own ideas, and the things that genuinely bring you purpose. It's a quiet declaration of self-respect and a powerful step in building the life you truly want. Are you really free to choose? When you decide what to wear in the morning or what game to play after school, do you feel completely free? You picked it, right? But here's the thing. People have been asking for a very long time if our choices are truly our own, or if they're set in motion by things we can't control. Think about it. Are you choosing that specific shirt just because you like it today? Or because your friends wore similar ones yesterday? Maybe a famous person you admire wears that style. Or maybe it's just the first clean one you found and you're running late. For thousands of years, thinkers have wondered about free will. That's the idea we truly choose what we do. But then there's another idea, sometimes called determinism. This thought suggests that every event, every choice we make, is actually the result of earlier events and conditions. It's like a long chain of cause and effect, where one thing leads to another and another. Here's an example. Imagine you suddenly crave a chocolate bar. Did you freely choose that craving? Or did you just see an ad for chocolate on your phone a minute ago? Maybe your blood sugar is a little low. Or perhaps, when you were much younger, chocolate was always a comfort food, so your brain learned to connect it with feeling good. Your past experiences, the environment around you right now, even the tiny chemical signals in your brain, they all play a part. So even though it feels like you chose to want that chocolate, a lot of other things were quietly guiding you toward that choice. This isn't about saying you don't have choices at all, or that your life is completely pre-written. Not at all. It's about understanding the deep currents that shape them. It's about noticing how much of our free choice might actually be a quiet echo of our past, our surroundings, and even our biology. It makes us wonder about ourselves and about how we truly move through the world. It invites us to be curious about why we do what we do, instead of just assuming. And that's a powerful thought. It actually teaches you. Have you ever messed something up badly? Really failed at something important? It feels terrible, right? That heavy, sinking feeling. We often think failure is the end, a sign we're not good enough. But here's the thing. What if failure isn't a dead end at all? What if it's one of the best teachers you'll ever have? Think about it. Every time you fail, you're not just falling down. You're learning how not to do something. Look at inventors like Thomas Edison. He tried thousands of ways to make a light bulb before finding the right one. He didn't see those attempts as failures. He saw them as ways that wouldn't work, which brought him closer to the one that would. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This isn't just a smart saying, it's a deep truth about how things get done. This idea isn't new. People from long ago knew mistakes were part of understanding life. They understood you often have to try, fall, and get back up to truly learn something. It's like learning to ride a bike. You wobble, you fall, maybe you scrape a knee. Each fall isn't a failure to ride, it's feedback. It tells you, don't lean that way, or push harder. You learn what not to do, and slowly your body figures out the balance. So, when something doesn't go your way, try not to see it as the end. See it as a signpost. It's pointing you in a new direction, showing you a path you hadn't considered. It makes you smarter, more creative, and stronger inside. Each mistake isn't a flaw. It's like a line on a map, guiding you toward a wiser version of yourself. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's often a necessary step on the way to it. Have you ever thought about what it truly means to be popular? It seems like a simple goal, to be liked by many, to fit in. But here's the thing, popularity often comes with a price tag. It's a hidden cost, paid not with money, but with parts of ourselves. Think about it. When you want to be popular, you might start changing little things about yourself. Maybe you laugh at jokes you don't really find funny, or pretend to like things just because your friends do. This idea isn't new. For thousands of years, people have wrestled with the choice between fitting in and staying true. Old thinkers, like the Greek philosopher Socrates, believed that knowing yourself and living by your own truth was far more important than pleasing the crowd. He wasn't always popular, but his ideas still live on. Here's an example. Imagine a favorite band, one you really love. Their music speaks to you, but then they get super famous. Suddenly, they start changing their sound to appeal to a wider audience. They play songs that are catchy, but might not have the same deep meaning. They're popular, sure, but the unique spark that made them special can get lost. In a way, they sacrificed a piece of their original self for fame. And that's how it is for us, too. Chasing popularity can mean you spend less time on what truly makes you happy, or what you truly believe. You might end up trying to be someone else's idea of cool instead of being authentically you. The real cost of popularity can be losing touch with your own quiet voice, the one that tells you who you really are. It makes you wonder, is being liked by everyone worth losing yourself? Sometimes, the most valuable thing is simply being true to the person looking back at you in the mirror. Why history isn't just dates and names. When you hear the word history, what comes to mind? Maybe long lists of dates, names of kings and battles, things to memorize for a test. But here's the thing, true history isn't really about memorizing. It's about understanding. It's like a deep, swirling river. The dates and names are just markers on the map, telling you where something happened.
But the river itself, that's the story. It's the flow of human experience.
Think about it this way. A building isn't just a pile of bricks and wood. It's about why it was built. Who lived there? What events unfolded within its walls? Those details, those stories, they give the building life. They make it more than just a structure. The same is true for the past. It's not just isolated events. Every war, every invention, every big idea, it all connects. It shapes the world we live in right now. Like how understanding why a certain law was created helps you understand your own rights today, or how knowing about past mistakes can help us avoid them in the future. It's like science, where you don't just memorize elements, but understand how they combine and react to make everything around us. So, history isn't dead. It's alive. It's the beating heart of how we got here and why things are the way they are. It teaches us about courage, about failure, about how people change and how they stay the same. This deeper understanding isn't just for school. It's a kind of wisdom. It helps us see ourselves and each other with clearer eyes. It helps you navigate the world because you see how patterns repeat, how human nature plays out again and again. It shows us that even small choices made long ago can ripple through time, right up to your doorstep. This ongoing human story includes you. The idea that everyone agrees. Have you ever thought about things everyone just seems to agree on? Not just small things, but big ideas that feel like they've always been true, like gravity, or that the sky is blue. These ideas are so widely accepted, we often don't even think to question them. They feel like facts, not opinions, because everyone around us seems to share them. This shared agreement can be powerful, bringing people together around common beliefs. But sometimes, this very agreement can stop us from seeing other possibilities or deeper truths. For a long, long time, almost everyone on Earth agreed the sun went around our planet. It seemed obvious, right? You watched the sun move across the sky every day. It took brave, curious minds, like Nicolaus Copernicus, to even suggest that maybe the Earth was the one moving around the sun instead. People argued, but eventually, the evidence was clear. And that's why it matters. What everyone agrees on isn't always the full story. Here's another example. Many of us grow up hearing that to be successful, you must go to a 4-year college right after high school. It's a very common idea, almost like an agreement everyone shares. People say it's the only path to a good job and a good life. But here's the thing. Is that truly the only way? What about people who start their own businesses or learn a skill like welding or coding or go into art? Some of the most amazing people found success on very different paths. So while many agree on that one path, it doesn't mean it's the universal truth for everyone. The idea that everyone agrees on something can be comforting. It can make things feel certain and stable, but sometimes it can also hide other possibilities. It can make us stop asking questions. The deepest thinkers often begin by gently wondering about things everyone else just took for granted. Maybe the job isn't to break down what everyone believes, but just to quietly ask, is there another way to see this? It's about opening your mind, not fighting with others. How your brain plays tricks on you. Have you ever looked at something and been absolutely sure of what you saw, only to find out later you were wrong? Our brains are amazing, but they don't always show us reality exactly as it is. Here's the thing. Your brain is constantly taking in information, filtering it, and filling in the blanks. It's trying to make sense of the world super fast, and sometimes it takes shortcuts. For thousands of years, thinkers have pondered this very idea. Ancient philosophers wondered if what we see and hear is truly real or just our brain's version of it. They questioned if our senses could be trusted. Later, scientists started studying how our eyes and ears work. finding out that our perception isn't just about light waves or sound vibrations, it's also about what our brain expects to see or hear. Your brain often predicts what's coming next, based on what it already knows. Think about optical illusions. You see two lines, and one looks longer, but when you measure them, they're the same. Your brain tricks you. Or consider how a strange shadow in your room at night can look like a monster, even though in the morning it's just a coat on a chair. Your brain, working in the dark, tries to create meaning from blurry shapes, often based on fear or expectation. Your brain fills in the gaps with familiar patterns, sometimes leading you astray. So, what does this tell us? It suggests that our personal view of the world is just that, personal. It's shaped by our brains, our past experiences, and even our feelings. This isn't a flaw, it's just how we're built. But understanding this helps us be more open. It reminds us to listen to others, to question our own strong beliefs sometimes, and to realize that everyone's reality is a unique story told by their own incredible brain. It makes us think a little deeper about everything we perceive. Special their one answer isn't enough. Have you ever wished for just one simple answer to a really big problem? Like one clear solution that would make everything make sense? It feels like that would be so easy, right? But here's the thing about life's deepest questions. They rarely have just one answer. They aren't like a math problem where 2 plus 2 always equals 4. Instead, they're like a vast, winding river with many currents. To truly understand, you need to look at all the different ways the water flows. Think about wise people from long ago, like the thinkers in ancient Greece. They spent their lives trying to understand things like what makes a good life, or what truth really is. They didn't always find one perfect answer. Often, the more they explored, the more different angles appeared. They learned that real wisdom isn't about finding one right answer. It's about holding many ideas at once and seeing how they all fit into a bigger picture. Take, for example, why people act the way they do. If a friend suddenly seems quiet or upset, there isn't usually just one reason. Maybe they didn't get enough sleep. Perhaps they're worried about a test, or something small happened earlier that built up. Their feelings are a mix of many things: past experiences, what's happening now, and even how they feel physically. Trying to find just one cause means missing almost everything important. So when we face big questions about our world, about each other, or about ourselves, remember that searching for one perfect answer can limit how much we understand. Instead, let your mind be open to many possibilities. Be curious about all the parts of a problem. Real understanding grows when we are brave enough to explore all the paths. It helps us be kinder, think deeper, and appreciate the true richness of life. The myth of perfect people. Have you ever scrolled through social media or just looked around at others and thought, wow, they seem to have it all together? Maybe it looks like some people never make mistakes, or they always know the right thing to say. It's easy to start believing in the idea of a perfect person, someone without flaws or worries. But here's the thing, that idea is a myth, it's not real. For a long time, thinkers and philosophers have talked about what it means to be human. Even thousands of years ago, people like the Greek philosopher Socrates knew that humans are always learning, always growing. They understood we aren't born complete or flawless. And throughout history, most wise people have agreed. True strength isn't about never falling, but about getting back up. This deep understanding tells us that mistakes aren't failures, they're part of the path. Think about a piece of pottery. When a potter first shapes the clay, it's soft, maybe a little lopsided. It might have small cracks or uneven spots. But then it goes into the kiln, gets fired, and sometimes even then, it changes shape or gets a little mark. That final piece, with all its unique bumps and curves, is what makes it special. It tells a story of how it was made. You don't throw it away because it's not a perfect, machine-made cylinder. Its unique character comes from its journey, from not being perfect. So, when we chase after this idea of being perfectly flawless, we're chasing something that doesn't exist. It can make us feel bad about ourselves, or like we're always falling short. But here's what truly matters. It's our struggles, our missteps, and how we learn from them that actually make us interesting and strong. Our unique marks and stories are what make us human. There is a quiet beauty in being truly ourselves, cracks and all, and that's more real and more powerful than any made-up idea of perfection.
Thinking for yourself. It's harder than you think. Have you ever really stopped to wonder if the thoughts in your head are truly your own? We often believe we're making all our own decisions, forming our own opinions about everything. But here's the thing. Thinking for yourself is much harder than it seems. It's not just about having an opinion. It's about questioning why you hold that opinion. It's about looking at ideas from every angle, even the ones that feel uncomfortable or different from what you've always heard. For thousands of years, people have grappled with this big idea. Thinkers from ancient times realized how tricky it is to truly know what's real or true. They saw that it takes effort and a quiet courage to avoid just following what everyone else says. It means being willing to stand apart, even if it feels lonely sometimes. Think about it like this. Imagine all your friends suddenly start using a new app or wearing a certain style of clothes. You might feel a strong pull to do the same. It can feel like your choice, but is it really? Or is it the powerful energy of the group shaping what you think is cool or necessary? This is how our thinking gets shaped without us noticing. Or think about social media. When you only follow people who already agree with you, it's easy to believe your view is the only view that makes sense. You end up in an echo chamber where your own ideas just bounce back at you, making it hard to hear anything new or different. Truly thinking for yourself means being brave enough to step outside that echo chamber. It means being open to new ideas, even ones that make you pause. It means doing the work to find things out for yourself, instead of just accepting what's easy or popular. It's a challenge for sure, but it's also how we genuinely grow. It's how you build your own understanding piece by piece, like constructing a strong, unique path for your mind. It leads to a much deeper, more honest way of seeing the world and knowing yourself. Even this sense on saying you're cool, whereas one of the most seen came a little way. The problem with good vibes only. Have you ever heard someone say good vibes only? It sounds nice, doesn't it? Like a promise that everything will always feel good. But here's the thing. This idea that we should only seek out positive feelings and push away anything negative can actually cause problems. It suggests that difficult emotions, like sadness, anger, or fear, are bad and should be avoided at all costs. For a long time, across many cultures, people have understood that life has ups and downs. Think about ancient stories, or even just how older generations talk about overcoming challenges. They often teach that wisdom comes from facing tough times, not from pretending they don't exist. It's like a deep, hidden truth. Our feelings, all of them, are trying to tell us something important. Imagine a weather forecast. You wouldn't want the meteorologist to only tell you about sunny days, right? If a storm is coming, you need to know. That information helps you prepare, to bring an umbrella, or even to stay inside. In the same way, emotions like sadness or frustration are like the weather warnings for our inner world. Sadness might tell you something is lost or needs healing. Anger might signal that a boundary has been crossed or something unfair is happening. Fear can warn you of danger, keeping you safe. So, if we only focus on good vibes, we might miss important messages. We might ignore those inner warnings, pushing them down instead of listening. When we do this, problems don't just disappear. They can grow bigger. It's like trying to put a cheerful sticker over a crack in a wall instead of fixing the wall itself. True strength isn't about never feeling bad. It's about allowing yourself to feel everything, understanding what those feelings mean, and learning from them. Every emotion has a place. Every feeling, even the heavy ones, can teach us something deep about ourselves and the world around us. Next time, we're gonna highs many for financial father and a calm. We stayed cause and mindment. Are we really helping the planet? Have you ever stopped to wonder if our best efforts to help the world sometimes create new problems? It's a strange thought, isn't it? We try so hard to do good, especially for our planet. We recycle, conserve, invent green tech. But what if sometimes our solutions aren't as simple as they seem?
This idea is about unintended consequences. It's when an action meant to fix one problem leads to another, often unexpected issue. Imagine pulling a single string in a giant, complicated sweater. You want to fix a loose thread, but you might accidentally unravel a whole section somewhere else. Our world, with all its living parts and systems, is a lot like that sweater. Everything is connected in ways we don't always see clearly. People have thought about this for a long time. Ancient thinkers understood that actions have ripples, spreading out in ways we can't predict. They knew human attempts to control nature often met surprising results. Think about farmers hundreds of years ago. They might clear a forest for crops, only to find the soil then washes away with rain, leaving nothing. They meant to grow food, but their actions changed the very land. It's a lesson that keeps showing up. The world is complex, and our place in it is too. Consider trying to help a struggling animal species. Sometimes, people introduce a new animal to an area to control another problem, like a specific pest. For example, years ago, certain frogs were brought to new places to eat insects, harming crops. Sounds good, right? But these frogs sometimes ate everything else: native insects, small birds, other frogs, throwing the ecosystem out of balance. The solution created a new, bigger problem for local wildlife. So what does this tell us? It doesn't mean we should stop trying to help, not at all. It means we need to think deeper, look wider, and understand how the world truly works. It reminds us to be humble about what we think we know. True help isn't just quick fixes. It's about careful observation, understanding the big picture, and moving forward with wisdom. Every choice we make sends ripples through the world. The idea that money solves everything. Have you ever stopped to wonder if money can truly fix everything? We often hear people say that if you just had enough cash, all your troubles would disappear. From being happy to being healthy, there's this deep-seated belief that money is the ultimate answer. Here's the thing: money is a powerful tool. It helps us get food, a place to live, and even education. For a long time, across many cultures, money has been seen as a way to measure success and security. People used to trade things directly, like wheat for shoes. But then we invented coins and bills to make things simpler. This made it easier to get what we needed. But over time, the idea grew that money didn't just help you get things, but that it could actually solve your deeper problems too. Think about it like this. Money is like fuel for a car. Fuel is super important. Without it, the car won't move at all, and you can't get anywhere. It helps you travel to new places, visit friends, or get to school. But the fuel itself doesn't decide where you go or if you'll be happy on the trip. It can't stop you from getting lost or make your passengers laugh. It can't fix a flat tire if the road is full of nails, or put gas in the tank if you forget to fill up. So, while money can buy you a fancy car, it can't buy you a sense of direction or true companionship for the journey. It can pay for a doctor, but it can't buy true health if you don't take care of yourself. It can get you a big house, but it can't buy you peace within its walls. Maybe real solutions aren't about what we can buy, but about what we build inside ourselves and with others. Many is why being different is your superpower. Have you ever felt like you didn't quite fit in? Maybe your ideas were a little different, or your way of seeing things stood out. It's easy to wish you were more like everyone else, to just blend in. But what if that feeling wasn't a problem? What if it was actually your greatest strength? Here's the thing. What makes you unique, your quirks, your specific interests, even the ways you think or feel, these are not weaknesses. Instead, they give you a special edge. They are your superpower. When everyone thinks the same way, it's hard to come up with new ideas. Different perspectives push things forward. Think about history. Many big leaps came from someone who saw things differently. People like Albert Einstein, who didn't think like other scientists, ended up changing how we understand the universe. Or artists who broke away from old styles. They didn't try to fit a mold, they created their own path. This idea that newness comes from difference has been true for a long time. It's about not being afraid to walk your own way. Look at nature. A forest is strong not because every tree is the same, but because it has many different kinds of plants and animals. Each plays a unique role, making the whole system healthier and able to handle challenges. If every plant was alike, a single disease could wipe out the whole forest. With variety, the forest stays strong. Your uniqueness works the same way. So, that feeling of being different? It means you bring something truly new to the world. You have a perspective, a talent, or a way of thinking no one else has. Embracing that difference, understanding it, and using it isn't just good for you, it's good for everyone. It makes the world richer, stronger, and full of possibilities we couldn't imagine. Your difference isn't a burden, it's a gift. Meaning of objects you own. Meaning is another covered. Have you ever stopped to really look at something you own, like your backpack or a favorite old shirt, and wonder about its story? It seems like they just sit there, right? But here's the thing. Everything we own, every single object, has a secret life. They hold more than just their shape or color. They carry memories, our energy, and a kind of quiet history that we rarely notice. Think about it. Long, long ago, in many different cultures, people believed that everything around them, even rocks and trees, had a spirit or a soul. This idea is sometimes called animism. They felt a deep connection to the world, and they saw life and meaning in the objects they used every day. And in a way, we still do this, even if we don't realize it. When you pick up an old, worn-out baseball glove, it's not just leather and thread. It's the echo of countless games played, the feeling of victory, maybe even the sting of defeat. It holds the sweat and effort of past players, and maybe even yours. Consider your own phone. It's a piece of plastic and metal, sure, but it's also a kind of digital diary of your life. It holds your photos, your messages, the music you love. It's been in your pocket through good times and bad, seen things you've seen, and heard what you've heard. Every scratch on its screen tells a tiny story about a drop or a tumble. So it's not just a phone. It's a silent witness to your days, a container of your moments, always there, absorbing a little bit of your journey. This isn't about magic, but about how we, as humans, connect with the world around us. Our objects aren't just separate things. They absorb a part of our lives, our joy, our worries, even our quiet thoughts. They become more than just stuff. They are quiet companions, reflecting pieces of who we are and what we've experienced. So, the next time you look at your things, remember they are more than they seem. They're part of your story, waiting for you to notice their quiet presence. Have you ever wondered why some ideas just feel deeply right to you? Often it's because those ideas came to us, not as a list of facts, but wrapped up inside a story. Stories are more than just entertainment. They are ancient, powerful ways humans share what they know, what they value, and what they believe is true about the world. For thousands of years, long before science or history books, people told myths and legends. Think about old tales from ancient Greece, or stories passed down by Native American tribes. These weren't just fun tales. They explained the world, teaching people how to live, what courage meant, or how to treat others. Because these ideas were woven into stories, people remembered, felt, and believed them. These stories became their foundation of understanding, and that's why it matters today. We still learn this way, even if we don't always notice. Think about a movie or game you love. When a character you care about learns a tough lesson, you feel it too. You might believe real. It's not just a message, it's an experience. This isn't about stories being good or bad. It's about their incredible, quiet power. A well-told story can make you feel what someone else feels, seeing the world through their eyes. It can build empathy and understanding, but it can also very subtly plant new ideas or shift your thinking about what's possible, what's fair, or what's true. Here's the thing. When you understand how stories work on our minds, you listen differently. You begin to question not just what is being said, but how it's told. You look for the heart of the message and consider if it truly fits with what you know. It's about noticing how narratives quietly shape our thoughts, the ground our beliefs stand on. And that makes you a more thoughtful, curious person.
the teaching that work hard, succeed always. Have you ever heard someone say, just work hard and you'll always succeed? It sounds simple, right? Like a straight line. You put in the effort, and good things are guaranteed to happen. This idea has been around for a long time. Back when our world was changing fast, during times like the Industrial Revolution, people saw that hard work in factories or on farms often led to more money or a better life. It made sense to believe that if you just kept pushing, you'd always reach your goal. It became a core part of how many people thought about life and progress. But here's the thing. Is it truly always that simple? Imagine you're tending a small garden. You pick the best seeds, you prepare the soil carefully, and you water them every day exactly as you're supposed to. You've done all the hard work. But then, one night, an unexpected hard frost comes, or maybe a hidden disease starts spreading underground. Even with all your careful effort, your plants might not grow strong or produce much. It's not because you didn't work hard enough. It's because other things outside your control, got in the way. Life often works this way too. You can study for hours for a test, know the material backward and forward, but then get sick on test day, or the questions are just phrased in a way that throws you off. You gave it your all, but the outcome wasn't what you expected. This teaching, that work hard, succeed always, can be tricky. It can make us feel like failures when we try our hardest but don't reach a specific goal. It makes us think that if something didn't work out, we must not have tried hard enough. But the truth is, the world is complex. There are forces bigger than our effort, circumstances we can't control, and paths we don't foresee. Perhaps the real strength isn't just in achieving a perfect outcome, but in the effort itself. It's in the trying, the learning, the growing, even when things don't go as planned. It's about understanding that trying hard is valuable, no matter what happens, and that our worth isn't only measured by the success we achieve. This life action. As a factor in the awaken scenes, why natural isn't always better. Have you ever stopped to wonder if natural is always the best choice? We hear that word a lot, used to describe things that are good for us, like food or medicine. But here's the thing. Just because something comes from nature doesn't mean it's automatically safe or even good. Think about it. Poison ivy is natural. So are rattlesnakes and deadly nightshade berries. Wildfires are natural, and so are tsunamis. Nature is powerful, beautiful, and also full of dangers. For most of history, humans had to learn which natural things would help them and which would harm them, often through trial and error that cost lives. Our ancestors didn't have much choice but to use what was around them. But as we learned more, we started to understand things better. We learned to refine, to create, to improve upon what nature gave us. Take something like pain relief. For a long time, people chewed on willow bark to ease headaches. Willow bark is natural, and it contains a chemical that helps with pain. It was a good start. But scientists later took that natural chemical, understood how it worked, and then created aspirin. Aspirin isn't something you just pick off a tree. It's made in a lab. Yet it's much safer, more effective, and easier to use than chewing on tree bark. So when we hear natural, it's worth pausing and asking, what does that truly mean here? Is it genuinely helpful and safe, or is it just something found in the wild? Our journey as humans has often been about taking the raw gifts of nature and making them better, safer, and more useful for everyone. It's not about rejecting nature, but about using our minds to understand it deeply and wisely, knowing when to embrace its raw power and when to refine it with human cleverness. The pressure to fit in. Have you ever felt like you needed to change a part of yourself just to be liked? It's a feeling many of us know, this quiet pull to be like everyone else. We see what's popular, what others are doing, and want to match it. It's about belonging, about not standing out too much. We just want to be accepted, to feel like we're part of something bigger. This isn't a new feeling. Humans have always wanted to belong. Think way back to ancient times. For early humans, being part of a group literally meant survival. If you were left out, it was incredibly dangerous. This deep, ancient need to connect still lives inside us, even today. It shapes how we see ourselves and act. But here's the thing. Sometimes, this natural need can quietly push us away from who we truly are. Think about a chameleon for a moment. It changes its color to match its background, right? It does this to blend in, to stay safe. In a way, we sometimes act a bit like that chameleon. We might change our opinions, adjust our clothes, or even how we talk, all just to blend in with a certain group. It can feel safer to be like everyone else. It feels like we're part of the team. But what happens to the real us in that process? This isn't about saying groups are bad, or that having friends isn't important. Not at all. It's about asking ourselves, what parts of me am I hiding or changing just to get approval? What if the most powerful thing we can do isn't to fit perfectly into someone else's mold, but to simply be ourselves, truly and completely? Maybe fitting in isn't always the goal. Maybe it's about finding people who let us be exactly who we are, without having to change our own colors. What if we're not alone? Have you ever looked up at the little green aliens? Though that's fun. This is about a much deeper question. Could life, in any form, exist beyond our planet? Think about it. Our Earth is just one small rock, circling one ordinary star, in a galaxy that holds billions of stars. And beyond our galaxy, there are billions more. That's an almost unimaginable number of places where life might have found a way to begin. For thousands of years, people have pondered this very question. Ancient thinkers like the Greek philosopher Epicurus wondered if there were infinite worlds just like ours, some with living things. Fast forward to today, and scientists are constantly discovering new planets outside our own solar system. Some of these planets are even in habitable zones, meaning they're just the right distance from their star for liquid water to exist. Here's the thing. Water is a key ingredient for life as we understand it, so if there's water, there's a possibility for life. Imagine you're exploring a giant, old library that stretches further than you can see. Our entire solar system is like just one bookshelf in that immense library. And on that single bookshelf, our Earth is just one book. If you've only ever read that one book, you might naturally think it's the only story there is. But what if there are millions of other books, on millions of other shelves, holding countless different kinds of stories? Some might be very different from ours, with life we can barely imagine. And that's why this idea truly matters. If we truly aren't alone, even if it's just tiny, simple microbes on a distant moon, it completely shifts our whole understanding of ourselves and our place. It makes our own existence feel a little less lonely, yet also incredibly small in the grand scheme of things. It whispers that the universe is far richer, far more mysterious, and far more active than we can grasp from our little blue planet. It fills you with a calm sense of deep wonder, reminding us that there is so much more to learn, to discover, and to appreciate about this vast, silent cosmos we are all a tiny, precious part of. We are just beginning to turn the pages. The illusion of control. Ever feel like you've got everything mapped out, every step planned, but then things don't go as planned, do they? Maybe the bus is late, or a friend acts differently than you expected, or that test question is totally unexpected. Here's the thing. Often, we believe we have more power over outcomes than we truly do. This belief is what we call the illusion of control. It's a deep idea, but simple too. It means we sometimes trick ourselves into thinking we can direct events that are actually outside our grasp. Think about trying to make someone like you. You can be kind, be yourself, but you can't make them feel a certain way. You can't control their thoughts or reactions. People have thought about this for a very long time. Ancient philosophers like the Stoics understood this idea well. They talked that true wisdom came from knowing what you could control and what you couldn't. They said you can control your own efforts, your attitude, your choices, and your reactions. But you cannot control the weather or other people's opinions,
or most big events that happen in the world around you. It's a bit like playing a video game where you can control your character, but you can't control the game's glitches or if the power suddenly goes out. You put in the effort, you make your moves, but some things are just part of the system or simply random. So, here's what happens. When we try to control everything, we often feel stressed, frustrated, or disappointed. We spend so much energy on things that just aren't ours to manage. But when you start to accept that some things are beyond your reach, a different kind of calm can settle in. You free up mental space. You can then focus your incredible energy on the things you can influence, your own actions, your thoughts, and how you choose to respond to life's ups and downs. That's where real strength and a quiet kind of peace can be found.
Why experts can be wrong. Have you ever wondered why we trust certain people so much? We call them experts. They've studied for years, they have deep experience. Usually their knowledge helps us greatly. But here's the thing, even experts can be wrong sometimes. It's not that they mean to mislead us. It's because what we know is always growing. What seems true today based on our best information can change tomorrow. New discoveries happen. For centuries, brilliant thinkers believed Earth was the universe's center. It made sense then. But later, with better tools, we learned Earth actually orbits the sun. Their understanding, though the best at the time, was incomplete. Think of a sports coach. They know the game inside and out. They are an expert. But even the best coach might make a wrong call. They might miss a detail during a fast game. Or the other team might do something unexpected. Life works like that. Things are complex. New details keep appearing. So what does this tell us? We don't stop listening to smart people. We still need their insights. But we should also stay curious ourselves. It's okay to ask questions, even of someone who seems to know everything. True wisdom isn't just having all the answers right now. It's knowing there's always more to learn. It's about being open to new ideas as the world reveals more of its amazing truths. Knowledge is a journey, always unfolding. The idea of fairness in the world. Have you ever stopped to wonder if the world is truly fair? We grow up hearing we should play fair and that things should be fair. But here's the thing. Look around and you might notice life doesn't always play by those rules. Some people are born into easier lives with more chances, simply because of where they are born or who their parents are. Others face tough challenges from day one through no fault of their own. And that's why it matters to really think about what fairness means, beyond just a simple rule. For thousands of years, people have argued about this. Ancient thinkers in Greece and China, for example, talked a lot about justice. They wanted to build societies where everyone got what they deserved. But even they disagreed on what deserving meant. Is it fair for everyone to get the same thing no matter what? Or is it fair for people to get rewarded based on their hard work, even if some can't work as hard? These are really deep questions. Think about a soccer game. It feels fair if both teams start with the same number of players and follow the same rules. But what if one team has played together for years and the other just met? Is the game fair even if the teams aren't equally matched? Or consider how some plants grow tall and strong because they get perfect sunlight, while others in the shade struggle. Nature doesn't hand out fair sunlight. It just is. So the idea of fairness isn't always about making everything equal in outcome. Sometimes it's about trying to make the rules equal or giving everyone a chance to try. But here's what I found. The world isn't designed to be fair in the way we often imagine. It's complex and full of differences. Accepting this isn't about giving up on making things better. Instead, it's about understanding the world as it truly is, so we can try to build more just systems, not just wish for a world that never was. It means recognizing that sometimes life simply isn't fair, and then deciding what we will do about it. People still larger. Your favorite show is teaching you something else. Have you ever stopped to wonder why you connect so strongly with your favorite show? It feels good to watch, right? But here's the thing. Those stories, those characters, they're often teaching you something much deeper than just plot points, not always on purpose and usually without you even noticing. For thousands of years, people learned about the world through stories. Ancient myths weren't just wild tales.
They taught lessons about courage, betrayal, or how seasons change. Even way back when, thinkers knew that the stories we tell slowly build how we see everything. Our ideas about what's good, what's cool, or what success looks like often come from these tales we absorb. It's like water slowly shaping a rock over time. So, when you watch a show, especially one you love, you're not just watching, you're absorbing. Imagine a popular show where the main character is always a little rebellious, never follows rules, but somehow always wins. The show might not say, "Be rebellious," but the story quietly suggests that rebellion is the path to success. Or maybe a show where everyone who looks a certain way is portrayed as popular. Your brain, without realizing it, starts making connections. It's like how a scientist runs an experiment over and over. The repeated results lead to understanding. It's not about these shows being bad, it's about being aware. These stories are powerful. They sneak into our minds, not with a loud argument, but with gentle pictures and repeated moments. And that's why it matters. The quiet lessons from the screen can slowly, subtly change how we think about ourselves and the world around us. It makes you wonder, what quiet lessons are you taking in right now? People still larger. The myth of effortless talent. Have you ever looked at someone who just seems incredibly good at something, like a sport or playing an instrument, and thought, wow, they were just born with that talent? Here's the thing. We often believe in something called the myth of effortless talent. This idea tells us some people are simply gifted. It says they don't have to try hard. It says greatness just flows from them, like magic. But when you really look closer, this idea starts to fall apart. Think about someone like Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. We picture him as a child genius, composing masterpieces easily. But history tells a different story. He started learning piano at age 3, practiced for hours, every single day, for many years. He studied, he failed, he tried again. His amazing skill was really the result of incredible dedication and endless practice. It's like learning to ride a bike. Nobody rides perfectly the first time. You fall, you scrape your knees, you wobble, you try again. And again. Then one day it just clicks. You make it look easy. But the effort, the falls, the many attempts, those are all hidden once you master it. Or think about a video game pro. They didn't just pick up the controller and become a pro. They spent countless hours playing, losing, learning moves, and getting better. So the truth is, most true skill isn't born. It's built. It's built piece by piece, through hard work and grit. It's the daily practice. It's the quiet effort no one else sees. This truth can be very powerful. It means you don't have to be born great to achieve great things. And that's actually a really hopeful thought. It means greatness isn't some rare gift given only to a few lucky people. It's something you can build for yourself, step by step with dedication and focus. Your effort matters more than you might think. It really does open up possibilities for everyone. Have you ever wondered how we truly know what's real, especially when we hear it from the news? You see, the news isn't just a window to the world. It's more like a story told by someone. And every storyteller chooses what to show, what to emphasize, and what to leave out. This choosing can subtly twist the truth. Think about it this way. News channels and websites have to pick what stories to tell. They also decide which parts of a story are most important. Sometimes they might pick a certain angle because it makes for a more exciting headline, or because it fits what they believe. And that's why different news sources can report on the exact same event, but make it sound completely different. It's not always about lying. Often it's about perspective. For a long time, people have understood this. Even ancient Greek philosophers talked about how our view of the world is shaped by what we're told, and how easy it is to be fooled by appearances. They knew that words have power. They can build up or tear down, depending on how they're used. News, in a way, is just another form of storytelling, and like any story, it carries the viewpoint of the person or group telling it. Here's an example. Imagine two kids, Alex and Sam, are playing soccer and Alex accidentally kicks the ball out of bounds. A reporter could say, Alex, careless and distracted, booted the ball far from the field. Or another reporter could say, Alex, aiming for a difficult shot, narrowly missed the goal, sending the ball just out of play. Both statements describe the same action, but the words chosen completely change how you feel about Alex. One makes him sound bad. The other makes him sound like he was trying hard. The event is
The same, but the truth feels different because of the language. So here's the thing. Understanding that news can twist the truth isn't about being cynical or not trusting anything. It's about being aware. It's about realizing that what you hear or read is just one slice of a bigger pie. And it means you need to think for yourself, to ask questions, and to look for other slices of that pie. It's about building a clearer picture in your own mind, not just accepting the one that's given to you. That's how you really see the world, with your own eyes.
why speed isn't always the answer. Have you ever stopped to think why we're always in such a hurry? From homework to texting, it often feels like faster is always better. But here's the thing, sometimes speed can make us miss something truly important. Our world often praises quickness. We celebrate the fastest runner, the instant download, and yes, sometimes speed is useful. But for many deep, lasting things, rushing can actually break them. Imagine building something complex, like a model airplane or a computer program. If you rush, gluing parts before they're set or skipping code steps, what happens? Things fall apart. Mistakes pile up. The final result isn't strong. Ancient thinkers, long before our fast world, often spoke of wisdom found in patience. They knew true understanding doesn't come in a sudden burst. Think how a seed grows into a mighty tree. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes seasons, years of slow, steady growth, pulling nutrients and reaching for the sun. Each ring inside its trunk tells a story of time. This isn't just about nature, it's also how we learn. When you're learning a tough science concept or a complicated book in English class, you can't just skim it and expect deep knowledge. You need to slow down, read, reread, ask questions, let ideas settle. This slower way helps your brain make connections, see the bigger picture, and truly get it. Rushing might pass a test, but it won't give you real understanding. So here's what I found. Some of the most beautiful and meaningful things in life, the ones that truly matter, need time. They need patience. They need us to slow down and simply be present. Maybe true wisdom isn't about how fast you arrive, but about what you learn along the way. Misunderstanding Everything. The idea that you need more stuff. Have you ever felt like you really needed something new? Maybe it was the latest gaming console, a cool pair of sneakers, or a brand new phone. And you just knew that getting it would make everything better, make you happier. Here's the thing. This idea that our happiness comes from owning more and more stuff is one of those deep teachings that quietly shapes our lives, often without us even realizing it. For a long time now, especially in modern societies, we're surrounded by messages telling us we're not complete without the next big thing. Think about commercials. They show happy people who just bought something. They make it seem like buying that thing is the secret to their joy. But ancient thinkers, people like the old Greek philosophers, looked at life differently. They didn't focus on how many possessions someone had. Instead, they often talked about finding peace or purpose inside yourself, or through good actions and strong friendships. They wondered if true wealth wasn't about things you could touch, but about things you could feel and share. Think about that new video game you really wanted. You saved up, you bought it, and for a little while it was amazing. You played it constantly. But then, after a few weeks or months, did that initial excitement fade? Maybe you started looking for the next game. It's like pouring water into a glass. Once the glass is full, pouring more water doesn't make it better, it just overflows. Our desire for more stuff often works that way. We get one thing, and soon we're looking for the next, never quite feeling truly full or satisfied. This idea that you always need more can keep us chasing after things that don't bring lasting peace. It makes us believe happiness is always just one purchase away. But what if real contentment isn't found in what we get, but in what we already have, or in who we are, or in the simple, free moments of our lives? It's a quiet question to carry with you. Number 11. The power of not knowing everything. Have you ever felt like you need to know everything? Like you should have all the answers ready? Here's the thing. Sometimes not knowing can be powerful. It might sound strange, but truly, It's a strength, not a weakness. When we admit we don't know something, we open a door. We stop pretending and start asking questions. This is where real learning begins. Think about the ancient Greek philosopher Socrates. He was known for saying, "The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing." He wasn't saying he was stupid. Instead, he meant that understanding how much you don't know is the first step toward true wisdom. It means you're humble enough to keep learning, to stay curious about the world. Imagine you're trying to solve a tricky math problem. If you think you already know the answer, you might just rush through it and get it wrong. But if you're honest and say, "I'm not sure how this works," you'll slow down. You'll reread the question, try different methods, or even ask a friend for help. That unknown part pushes you to explore, to try new ways of thinking. It's the same in science. Scientists don't start with all the answers. They start with a question, with something they don't know, and that drives them to discover amazing things about our world. So, here's what it comes down to. Not knowing everything keeps us curious. It keeps us humble. It reminds us there's always more to explore, more to understand. It frees us from the pressure of having to be perfect. Embracing the unknown isn't about being lost. It's about being ready to find something new. It allows us to grow, one question at a time. Number 9. Member mine. Member one new. What if your hero isn't perfect? Have you ever thought about what makes someone a hero? We often picture them as flawless, right? Like they never make a mistake, never say the wrong thing, and always know the answer. But here's a deep question. What if the people we admire most aren't perfect at all? What does that mean for us? For thousands of years across different cultures, people have told stories about heroes. Think about the ancient Greek myths. Their gods and heroes were powerful, yes, but always working, also very flawed. Zeus, the king of the gods, could be jealous and unfair. Even great warriors like Achilles had a weakness, his heel. This wasn't to say they weren't important or inspiring. It was to show that even those who achieve amazing things are still, in many ways, just like us. They are human, or in the case of the gods, they acted with human-like struggles and emotions. This idea challenges us to think differently about strength. If your favorite basketball player misses a crucial shot that costs the game, or your favorite singer has a really bad night during a concert, does it suddenly make them less talented overall? Not really, does it? Or think about a brilliant scientist whose discoveries change how we understand the world. Maybe, in their personal life, they were a bit messy, or struggled with patience, or were sometimes unkind. That doesn't take away from the incredible things they figured out about the universe. It just means their genius didn't erase their human parts. Here's the thing. Acknowledging that our heroes have flaws isn't about tearing them down or being critical. It's about understanding a deeper truth about what true strength is. Real strength isn't about being perfect. It's about how you use your gifts, how you face challenges, and the impact you have on the world, even with your imperfections. This means we can learn so much from everyone, not just from their shining moments of victory, but also from how they handle their less than perfect times. And it reminds us, you don't have to be perfect to make a real difference in the world. Here's a sense explain. The lie of everyone else is doing it. Have you ever heard someone say, "But everyone else is doing it"? Or maybe you've thought it yourself. It's a phrase that whispers in our minds, especially when we're trying to figure out what's right or what's cool. But here's the thing, that idea, that everyone else is doing something, is often a lie. Or, even if it's true, it doesn't automatically make that thing good or smart or right for you. Think about history. For a very long time, people across the world believed the sun revolved around the earth. Everyone knew it. The smartest minds, the common people, everyone believed it. But then, brave thinkers like Copernicus and Galileo dared to look closer. They questioned what everyone believed. They saw the real evidence, and they figured out that the earth actually goes around the sun. What everyone else was believing was simply wrong. The truth didn't care what the crowd thought or what was popular. Here's an analogy from science. Imagine a flock of birds flying in one direction. Most birds just follow the ones in front, right? They don't usually stop to check if that direction is the best, or if there's a predator or a better path to food. They just follow the group. People can be like that too. We often follow what appears to be the crowd, not stopping to think if that path is truly our path, or if it's even the best of bird.
Right one.
So, the next time that thought creeps in, everyone else is doing it, pause. Think for yourself. Your own mind is a powerful thing, a compass pointing you towards your own truth. It deserves to be heard. It's about finding your own way, even if it feels different from the apparent crowd. Trust that quiet inner voice. Aster. Why silence can be powerful. Have you ever noticed how much noise fills our lives? Phones buzz, music plays, people talk, cars drive by. It feels like every moment needs a sound. But here's the thing. Sometimes the most powerful moments are the quietest ones. Silence isn't just nothing. It's a space, a deep pool where new things can happen. Think about it. When everything is loud, it's hard to really listen, not just to what other people are saying, but to what's going on inside your own head. For thousands of years, people have understood this. Ancient philosophers, wise teachers, even monks in quiet temples, they all sought out silence. They believed it was a path to understanding the world and themselves better. They knew that in the quiet, answers could surface that were hidden by all the noise. It's like when you're trying to see something reflected in a lake. If the water is choppy and full of ripples, you can't see a clear image. But when the water is still and calm, the reflection becomes sharp and true. Silence is like that calm water for your mind. It lets thoughts settle. Imagine you're in a heated discussion with a friend. If you both just keep shouting, nothing gets solved. But if one person pauses, takes a breath, and lets a moment of silence hang in the air, suddenly the next word spoken can hold so much more weight. That pause isn't empty. It's full of potential for understanding. It gives you a chance to think before you speak, and it gives the other person a chance to hear you. So, silence isn't something to be afraid of or quickly fill up. It's a tool, a teacher, a powerful space. It can help you hear the quiet whispers of your own thoughts, or truly listen to the unsaid feelings in a room. It helps you see things more clearly, like that calm lake, and that's why it matters. In Fortune. Why silence? The idea that one person can't make a difference. Have you ever felt tiny, like a single drop in a vast ocean? Sometimes it's easy to believe that what one person does doesn't really matter. We look at big problems or even just changes needed in our communities, and we might think, what can I do? I'm just one person. This idea that a single voice or a single action is too small to make a real splash can be pretty powerful. But here's the thing, it often keeps us from trying. Think about history. So many major changes, so many big ideas started with just one or two people. Think of someone like Malala Yousafzai, who spoke up for girls' education even when it was dangerous. She was just one person, a student, but her courage sparked a global conversation. Or consider a scientist who had a single idea that no one else believed in at first, like Marie Curie and her work with radioactivity. Her single-minded focus led to huge medical breakthroughs. These stories show a pattern. Here's an everyday example. Imagine a quiet conversation you have with a friend, where you share something honest and real. That one talk might not change the whole world, but it could deeply affect your friend, making them feel seen. And that feeling might then make them kinder to someone else, creating a small, invisible chain reaction. It's like a single raindrop landing on a leaf. It doesn't cause a flood, but it helps that one leaf, part of a tree, part of a forest, and that forest helps the whole planet breathe. So, the quiet truth is that every action, every choice, even every thought, sends out tiny ripples. We might not always see the big wave they create, but they are there. Our lives are made of these small, powerful moments. And that's why it matters to remember that being one person is not a limitation. It's where everything begins. Chapter 10. How your feelings are not always facts. Have you ever felt something so strongly, so deeply, that you just knew it had to be real? Maybe you felt absolutely convinced someone was mad at you, even if they hadn't said a word. Or you felt so nervous about a test that you were sure you'd fail, even after studying a lot. Our feelings are powerful currents inside us. They tell us a lot about our inner world. But here's the thing. Sometimes, what we feel isn't what's actually true about the world around us. For a long, long time, people thought that if you felt something, it simply was. But wise thinkers, even from ancient times, began to notice something different. They understood that our minds have different parts. There's the part that feels, and the part that thinks and reasons. And sometimes, these two parts don't agree. This idea isn't new. It's a quiet truth that has echoed through history, showing us the difference between what our heart tells us and what our eyes can truly see. Think about walking into a dark room at night. Your imagination might instantly create shadowy figures or hear creaking noises that aren't there. You feel scared, maybe even convinced there's something to fear. Your heart races, your breath hitches. That feeling is very real. But is the danger real? Often no. When you flip on the light, you see it was just your jacket on a chair or the house settling. The feeling of fear was strong, but it wasn't a fact about a monster lurking. It was a signal from your brain responding to the unknown. This teaching isn't about ignoring your feelings. They are important messages. Instead, it's about learning to pause. It's about asking, is what I feel right now actually a solid truth about the world? Or is it just how my inner world is reacting? Understanding this difference helps us see more clearly. It gives us a calm space to check, to think, and to choose how we respond, rather than letting our feelings automatically decide for us. It lets us be truly free, even when our emotions are churning. Chapter 1. The Myth of the Right Path. Have you ever felt like there's one perfect way to do things, one single right path you're supposed to find? This idea can feel heavy, with only one exit, and if you pick wrong, you're stuck. But here's the thing, that's often just a myth. Life isn't a single track. It's more like a wide open field with many trails, all leading somewhere interesting. For a long time, people believed in fate, that everything was already decided for them. Like in ancient Greek stories, where powerful gods spun your destiny, and you just followed along. But over time, thinkers started to wonder if we have more say. They saw that what feels right often comes from what society expects, or what seems safe and normal. But truly, your own choices shape your way forward. Think about learning something new, like playing a song on an instrument. There isn't just one right way to practice. Some might start slow, note by note, getting each part perfect before moving on. Others might try the whole song imperfectly from the start, then go back and fix the tricky parts. Both can lead to you playing it well. Or imagine a river. It doesn't flow in a perfectly straight line. It twists, turns, and goes around obstacles, always finding its way to the ocean. That's how growth happens. So, letting go of needing the right path can actually free you. It means you can explore, make mistakes, and learn from them without feeling like you've failed a big test. It means your journey is unique, shaped by your own steps and choices, not by some old map someone else drew. There's real strength in choosing your own way. Even if it feels unsure sometimes, your path becomes right because you choose it and make it yours. Daja January Social Aquarium State. The teaching that winning is everything. Have you ever felt that intense feeling? The one that tells you just have to win, no matter what. This teaching, winning is everything, sinks deep into many parts of our lives. It suggests that the only thing that truly matters, in a game, in a test, or in any challenge, is coming out on top. If you don't win, then your effort, your journey, and even your character somehow count for less, or even for nothing. Think about the history of heroes. So many stories, from ancient empires to modern sports legends, celebrate the conqueror, the champion, the one who stands alone at the top. People are often cheered for their victories, and sometimes the way they won gets overlooked. This idea teaches us that being number one is the ultimate goal, and that everything else is just second best. But here's the thing. Focusing only on winning can make us miss so much. Imagine a group of friends playing a board game. One friend, determined to win at all costs, starts bending the rules, maybe even cheats a little, just to get to the finish line first.
They might win the game that night. But what did they lose? They probably lost some trust from their friends. They might not have truly enjoyed the fun of playing fairly. The real point of the game, which is often about spending time together and having fun, gets hollow. So, what happens when winning becomes the only thing? We stop seeing the value in trying hard, in learning from mistakes, or in helping others. We might even avoid challenges entirely, just to dodge the chance of not winning. The deeper truth is, life isn't always about who crosses the finish line first. Sometimes the true win is in how you ran the race, what you discovered about yourself along the way, or how you inspired others. It's about the person you become, not just the score at the end. Why sharing isn't always caring. We often hear that sharing is good, right? It's a lesson we learn early from kindergarten onward. We're taught to share our toys, our snacks, our ideas. It feels like a basic rule for being a good person. But here's the thing. What if sharing, sometimes, isn't caring at all? What if it actually hurts or takes something away instead of adding to it? Think about this idea. It's easy to understand sharing a candy bar. But what about sharing secrets that aren't yours to tell, or spreading rumors that aren't true even if they feel exciting? What about constantly sharing our own negative feelings without thinking about how that energy affects everyone around us? This isn't the same kind of sharing, this is something else entirely. Ancient thinkers from long ago knew this deeply. They talked a lot about the power of words, and how carefully we should use them. Many old teachings suggest we should weigh our words and actions before we speak them or pass them on. They believed words, once spoken or shared, are like feathers released into the wind. You can't call them back. They believed these words could build something beautiful, like a strong community, or they could tear things down, leaving harm behind. Here's what I found. Think about sharing online. It's so easy to post anything instantly, right? But what if someone shares a private photo of a friend without asking first? Or they repost a story that isn't true just because it sounds exciting or dramatic? Even if they think they are just sharing information or being open, it can cause real pain and damage to someone's reputation or feelings. This isn't caring, it's being thoughtless, and it spreads harm. The ripples of shared negativity or private things can spread far and wide. So, sharing isn't just about giving something away. It's about responsibility. It's about understanding the true impact of our words, our actions, our energy on others. Sometimes, the most caring thing you can do is to hold back, to keep a secret safe, to offer quiet, steady support instead of adding more noise or gossip. It's a deep kind of wisdom knowing when to share and perhaps, even more importantly, when not to. The secret language of social media. Has it ever made you wonder if social media has a language all its own? I mean, beyond the words and pictures we see every day. It's true. There's a secret language spoken online, full of hidden meanings and quiet signals. It's not written down in a dictionary, but it shapes so much of what we think and feel. Here's the thing. Humans have always communicated this way, not just with words. Think about ancient times. People used smoke signals to send messages across distances, or how a certain type of clothing could tell everyone about someone's status without them saying a word. Even music can make you feel joy or sadness without a single lyric. This way of communicating beyond words has been around forever. Social media makes these signals move fast. A like isn't just a like. It can mean approval, I saw this, or I wish I had this. A share can mean, I agree, look at this, or this is important to me. And sometimes the most powerful message is the silence, what isn't shared, what isn't liked, who isn't tagged. Think about your own friend group. You probably have inside jokes or special emojis you use that only your friends understand. Outsiders might see the words but miss the true meaning. Online, certain hashtags, trends, or even the style of a post can signal belonging or distance to specific groups. It's like an unspoken agreement, a shared code that tells you who's in and what's cool. So, what does this secret language teach us? It shows us that a lot of what we take in online isn't just about direct facts or clear statements. It's about feeling, trends, and silent pressures. Knowing this can help us look deeper, to question what's really being communicated,
and to understand how these hidden messages might be shaping our own thoughts. It's about seeing beyond the surface and choosing the true meanings we accept. The idea that old things are useless. Have you ever looked at something truly old, maybe a faded photograph or an old tool, and wondered if it still matters? We often live in a world that shouts, "New is always better." It's easy to think anything old is automatically useless. This idea, simple as it seems, can actually undermine our understanding of value. For a long time, people saw great worth in age. Ancient cultures often looked to elders for wisdom. Stories passed down for generations held timeless truths, not because they were new. Think about the boy who cried wolf. It's an old tale, but its lesson about honesty is still important today. Its age doesn't make it useless, it makes it a proven guide. But here's the thing, in our modern rush, we sometimes forget this. We're taught to look forward, always seeking the next big thing, and sometimes we throw out the past without a second glance. Consider an old, sturdy tree in a park. It's not new. It might have rough bark and branches that have seen many storms. But is it useless? No way. That tree provides shade on hot days, shelter for birds, and cleans the air we breathe. Its age gives it strength and deep roots. It's a quiet witness to time, standing strong. Its value isn't just about being new, but in its steady, long-lasting presence and the life it supports. So the idea that old things are useless isn't just about objects or stories. It can make us quickly dismiss old ideas, old ways, or even the experiences of older people. It tricks us into believing that only what's happening right now has meaning. But what if some of the most important lessons, the deepest comforts, or the strongest foundations are actually found in what has endured? Maybe true value isn't just about being shiny and new, but about the quiet strength and wisdom found in what has stood the test of time. Siegel Lease, what if you don't want to be happy? Everyone talks about being happy, right? It feels like the main goal we're supposed to chase, but what if you don't always want to be happy? What if other feelings are just as important, sometimes even more so? This isn't about choosing to be sad. Ancient philosophers like the Stoics weren't focused on endless joy. They didn't chase constant smiles. Instead, they focused on wisdom, courage, and justice. They believed a good life meant being a good person, staying calm even when things were hard. True peace, they thought, came from understanding what you could control. It wasn't about being happy every second, but living with purpose and inner strength. Think about trying something really difficult, like learning a complicated piece of music or training for a tough race. You had moments of frustration, even failure. You weren't happy then. You were challenged, maybe stressed, but you kept going. When you finally mastered that song or crossed that finish line, the feeling wasn't just simple happiness, it was deeper, satisfaction, pride, a sense of accomplishment. That kind of deep feeling only comes from facing something hard, from not always being comfortable or happy. So maybe a full life isn't about avoiding every difficult emotion, it's about making room for all of them. Sadness can teach you about loss. Frustration can push you to work harder. Even anger can show your boundaries. These feelings, though not happy, are part of what makes us human. They help us grow and truly understand the world. Sometimes choosing to face something difficult, rather than chasing a quick smile, leads to a much richer, more meaningful journey. It's about being whole, not just being happy. Single lease. Why common sense can be wrong. Have you ever stopped to think about common sense? It's like an unwritten rule book we all carry. It tells us what seems right, what feels obvious. But here's the thing. Sometimes, what seems obvious can actually be wrong. And that's a powerful idea. Common sense is often built on what we experience daily, what most people believe without much thought. It's practical, yes. If you drop a ball, common sense says it will fall, and it does. But not everything is so simple. For ages, common sense guided people. They saw the sun cross the sky daily, so common sense told them the sun went around the earth. Everyone believed it. This was truth for thousands of years. But then people like Copernicus and Galileo looked closer. They used math and careful watching. They found the earth actually goes around the sun. That wasn't common sense back then. It seemed crazy.
Here's an example. Imagine dropping a feather and a bowling ball. Common sense says the bowling ball will hit first, and in air, it usually does. But in a vacuum, with no air, they would both hit the ground at the exact same moment.
Our everyday experience, our common sense, had tricked us. So why does this matter? It means to truly understand, we often have to look past what just feels right. We need to be curious. We must question even simple ideas. Learning isn't just about facts. It's about being brave enough to think differently, to see the world not just as it seems, but as it truly is. And that can be a deep journey. The myth of the best way to learn. Have you ever wondered if there's one perfect way to learn something new? Maybe a secret method that makes everything just click? For a long time, people thought there was a best way, a single path to understanding, and often that path was seen as sitting quietly, listening to a teacher, and reading books. But here's the thing. That idea is mostly a myth. Our brains are amazing, and they work in so many different ways. What helps one person truly grasp a concept might leave another feeling completely lost. Think about old philosophers, even way back in ancient Greece. They argued endlessly about how we come to know truth. Some believed in logic and reason, others in experience, and some even in sudden moments of insight. They knew, deep down, that the journey of learning isn't just one road. Imagine you want to learn to bake a batch of cookies. One friend might need to read the recipe step by step, very carefully. Another might learn best by watching a video of someone making them. And then there's a third friend who just needs to get their hands in the dough, trying things out, maybe making a few mistakes along the way. All three can end up with delicious cookies. No single way was better than the others. Each found their way. So, here's what this means for you. There is no magical best learning method out there for everyone. The true power lies in exploring, in trying different things. It's about discovering what helps your mind connect, what sparks your understanding. It's about being curious about yourself and how you learn. And that's a journey worth taking. Chapter 24. How your attention is being sold. Have you ever really thought about your attention? Not just what you look at, but where your mind actually goes? It feels so personal, like a quiet part of you. But here's the thing. That focus, that precious part of your mind, is being bought and sold every single day. Imagine your attention as a strong, bright spotlight. Where you point that light decides what you see, learn, and feel. For hundreds of years, people knew the power of grabbing that spotlight. Think about old newspapers. They didn't just sell stories. They sold access to your eyes, to your thoughts. Then came radio, then television. Each new invention pulled your attention. Companies learned to place messages in front of you. Your focus became their path. Here's how it works today. When you watch a short video online or scroll through a social media feed, you might think you're just having fun. But the companies behind those apps sell pieces of your time to advertisers. They want to hold your gaze. The longer you stay, the more ads they show. The more ads they show, the more money they make. So your scrolling isn't just a habit. It's like valuable currency. These apps are designed like super strong magnets. They pull, made to keep your attention right there. It's a quiet, powerful process. So, if your attention is such a desired thing, something others profit from, what does that mean for you? It means your power to focus, to choose what truly matters, might be your most valuable possession. It's not just about what you see or read, it's about what you let into your mind. Protecting your attention, really thinking about where it goes, becomes a deeply personal act. It truly shapes your world. The idea that you have to have an opinion. Do you ever feel pressure to have an opinion on everything? Like if someone asks about a news story or a new movie, you need to instantly know what you think. Here's the thing. You don't always have to. It's perfectly okay, even wise, to not have an opinion, or to say, I haven't thought about that enough yet. This idea that we must always take a side is common today, but it wasn't always like this. Long ago in ancient Greece, a famous thinker named Socrates didn't claim to know everything. He often said the only thing he truly knew was that he knew nothing. He loved to ask questions, helping people see they didn't have all the answers either. For Socrates, real wisdom often started with admitting you didn't know. It meant being curious and open instead of rushing to judgment. Think about hearing people talk about something complicated, like a big problem at school. You might feel you should have an idea, but what if you don't? What if you need more information? Imagine a detective. They don't just pick a suspect right away. They gather clues, listen, and think. They don't form an opinion until they have enough facts. They might say, "I'm still investigating," and that's what you can do with ideas. So, when someone asks what you think and you truly aren't sure, it's a strength to say, "I'm still thinking about it," or "I need more information." This shows you're thoughtful. It means you value understanding more than just being right. And that's why it matters. Giving yourself permission to pause, to listen, and to not always have an immediate answer can open a deeper way of seeing the world. It allows for calm, quiet growth. Why being alone can be good. Have you ever wondered why silence feels different from noise? Most of the time, we're surrounded by people, sounds, and constant activity, and that's good. But here's the thing. Sometimes being alone isn't just okay, it's truly powerful. It's not about feeling lonely, it's about choosing to be by yourself. This quiet time, often called solitude, is a special space. It helps you truly think. For thousands of years, deep thinkers, from ancient philosophers to wise teachers, understood quiet's value. They knew true understanding often comes when you step away from the crowd. Thinkers like Plato and spiritual leaders across time would go to quiet places. They went to think, meditate, or just observe without distractions. They weren't hiding. They were searching for inner wisdom, a clarity hard to find when always with others. This tradition shows us quiet moments help us listen to our own thoughts. Imagine a seed planted in the soil. For a while, it's alone in the dark earth. It's not lonely. It's busy growing, sending down roots, gathering strength. All that important work happens in private, before it pushes through the soil to face the sunlight and the world. Your mind can be like that seed. When you give it quiet time, away from the buzz of social media, friends, and daily demands, it settles. It sorts ideas, processes emotions, and finds what's truly important. You hear your own voice, the one sometimes lost in all the noise. So, being alone isn't a weakness. It's a chance to build inner strength. It's a way to become more aware of who you are and what you genuinely need. It helps you understand your feelings, your dreams, and your path. This quiet strength makes your connections with others stronger and more real. It's a way to truly connect with yourself so you can better connect with the world. The teaching that bigger is better. Have you ever wondered why we often feel like more means better? Why is it that a bigger house, a larger screen, or even more followers online seems like the main goal? This idea, bigger is better, is one of those silent teachings we pick up almost without noticing. Here's the thing. This thought tells us that worth comes from size or quantity. If something is larger, or if you have more of it, then it must be superior. For a long time, especially as societies grew and industries boomed, we started to measure success this way. Bigger farms, bigger factories, bigger cities. It became a kind of unspoken rule in how we build our world, and even how we see ourselves. But is it always true? Think about the natural world around us. A tiny seed, no bigger than your thumbnail, holds the complete blueprint for a giant oak tree. That small seed contains all the potential, all the life, ready to unfurl into something vast and strong. Its power isn't in its current size, but in the intricate design and concentrated potential it carries. Or consider a single, well-written sentence. It might be short, but it can spark a huge idea, or change how you feel completely. A long, rambling speech might have many words, but lack true impact. So, maybe the true measure isn't about how much space something takes up, or how many pieces there are. Perhaps it's about the quality, the essence, or the deep meaning within. It makes us wonder if maybe, just maybe, enough is truly better than more. And sometimes, the smallest things hold the most profound power. The myth of a quick fix. Have you ever wished for a sudden, easy way to fix a big problem? It's a common idea, this belief that a difficult situation can just vanish. That with one simple trick or one quick decision, everything will suddenly be perfect. But here's the thing. For most truly important problems, a quick fix is often just a story we tell ourselves. It's a nice thought, but it usually doesn't match how the world actually works. Think about it. From ancient times, wise people understood that growth, real growth, isn't instant. The old Greek philosophers, for instance, talked a lot about virtue, being a good, strong person. They said you didn't become virtuous by doing one brave thing. You became virtuous by doing brave things, again and again over a long time. It was a journey, not a jump. And that's why it matters. Deep, lasting change always takes time and effort. Wuking mo talan strategy. It's like learning to play a musical instrument or getting good at a sport. You can't just pick up a guitar for the first time and play a perfect song. You need practice. Hours and hours of practice. You make mistakes, you try again. And slowly, over days and months, your fingers learn, your muscles remember, and the music starts to flow. There's no magic spell for instant talent because real skill is built step by slow step. So, when you hear about an instant solution to a big challenge, whether it's about making peace or finding happiness or solving a global problem, maybe pause and think. The most lasting changes, the deepest understandings, they don't come easy or fast. They come from steady work, from patience, and from understanding that the journey itself is where the true strength is built. It's okay for things to take time. In fact, it's often better that they do. Number 1. How labels can limit you. Have you ever stopped to think about the words we use to describe people or even ourselves? We say someone is smart or shy or athletic. We give things names like rock or tree or water. Here's the thing. These words, these labels, are super helpful. They let us quickly understand the world around us. But what if these very labels meant to help us understand actually stop us from seeing the full truth? Think about it this way. A label is like a shortcut for your brain. It helps you file things away. But sometimes, a shortcut can make you miss the whole path. Wise people, long ago, noticed this. They saw that when you give something a name, you instantly put it in a box. You define it. And once something is defined, it can be hard to see it as anything else. It's like drawing a border around something. It shows you where it is, but it also shows where it isn't. Number 3. Imagine you're really into drawing. Your friends and even your teachers start calling you the artist. That sounds nice, right? But what if you also love science? Or maybe you're getting pretty good at playing basketball. If everyone, and even you, thinks of you as the artist, it can feel like you're not supposed to be good at anything else. That label, even a positive one, can quietly push you away from trying new things. It can make you feel like you have to fit into that one box, even if you're so much more. So maybe the trick is to remember that a label is just one small word for a big, ever-changing person or thing. We are all more complex than any single word can capture. And that's why it matters to look beyond the labels, to always be curious about what else might be there, waiting to grow. The idea that everything needs a reason. Have you ever stopped to think about how often we ask why? It feels so natural, doesn't it? We see something happen, and our brains instantly search for the cause. A ball rolls across the floor. Why? Someone pushed it. You feel tired. Why? Maybe you stayed up too late. This automatic search for a reason, a cause, is deeply wired into us. It's how we make sense of our world. For a very long time, thinkers believed everything must have a reason, a purpose, or a cause. From ancient Greek philosophers to scientists centuries ago, the idea was simple. If you understood the why, you understood everything. This way of thinking helped build our knowledge, allowing us to predict things and feel we had a grip on a confusing world. It gave us a sense of order. But here's the thing. What if some things don't have one clear, simple why. Imagine you wake up feeling a bit down for no obvious reason, or you just feel really happy and can't point to a single thing that caused it. Our minds still try to find a reason like, oh, maybe it's the cloudy weather, or it must be because I ate that cookie. We often try to pin a clear because onto everything, even when there isn't one. Sometimes a beautiful piece of music just is beautiful. A sunset just is breathtaking. What if some parts of life, or even the universe itself, just exist without needing a tidy explanation? This isn't about giving up on curiosity or learning. Instead, it's about opening our minds to a different kind of truth. It's realizing not everything needs a neat, perfect reason to exist or be meaningful. Accepting that some things simply are can feel a little strange at first, but it can also make the world feel even more mysterious and wonderful, full of things that simply breathe without needing a label for their being. Why asking why matters more. Have you ever really paused to wonder about something small? Like, why is the sky blue? Or why does a certain song make you feel that way? It's a short word, why, but it holds so much power. Often we ask what happened or how do I do this? Those questions give us facts. But why pushes us deeper. It asks us to dig for reasons, not just accept but figure out why. Long ago in ancient Greece, a famous thinker named Socrates didn't just accept what people told him. He spent his life asking, why about everything? This wasn't about being difficult. He truly wanted to understand, to make people think. His questions shaped how we learn and search for truth today. Think about an apple falling from a tree. For centuries, people just saw it happen. But then, a scientist named Isaac Newton supposedly saw an apple fall and asked why. That one question, that spark of curiosity, led him to understand gravity. This huge force explains everything from our feet on the ground to planets circling the sun. It wasn't about what happened, but the why that changed everything. So asking why isn't about arguing or finding fault. It's about a deep wish to understand. It means not just memorizing facts, but seeing how things connect. When we ask why, we open new paths. We see the world more clearly and understand ourselves better too. It's the start of real wisdom. The teaching that life is fair. Does it ever feel like the world owes you something? Like there's a secret rule that says everything should balance out? That if you're good, only good things will happen? Or if you work hard, you'll definitely get the reward you deserve? This thought, life is fair, is a powerful teaching many of us grow up with. It suggests that actions always lead to equal, predictable reactions, like a perfect scale where everything evens out in the end. But here's the thing. Real life often doesn't work that way. For a long time, people have tried to make sense of why bad things happen to good people, or why some seem to have it easy while others struggle. Ancient stories often showed heroes facing huge, unfair challenges, hoping that in the end, justice would win. This idea brought comfort, a belief that the world had a hidden order, a cosmic balance that would eventually fix everything. Think about two seeds. Both are good seeds, full of potential. You plant them in the same garden at the same time, give them the same water and sunlight. But one might sprout quickly and grow into a strong, tall plant, while the other struggles, maybe because of a tiny, unseen rock in the soil, or a bug underground that you can't even spot. The plants didn't do anything wrong or right. Their outcomes just happened differently, even with the same starting conditions. This doesn't mean life is cruel or random. It means life is complex, full of things we can't control or even fully understand. Accepting that life isn't always fair doesn't make you bitter. It can make you stronger. It teaches you to focus on your effort, your kindness, your choices, not just the rewards you expect. It helps you find peace in the unevenness, understanding that true strength comes from how you respond to what life gives you, not from waiting for a perfect balance that might never arrive. The hidden rules of friendship. Have you ever felt confused by a friendship, like there were unspoken rules you somehow missed? It's a common feeling, because often, friendship isn't just about the things we say or do out loud. There are deeper currents, hidden agreements, and silent understandings that shape how we connect with others. These are like the unwritten laws of human connection. Think about it this way. When we make friends, we automatically step into a kind of agreement. It's not something you sign or even talk about, but there are expectations. We expect loyalty. We expect a friend to listen when we're upset. We expect them to show up, even when it's inconvenient. And we expect them to keep our secrets safe. These ideas about friendship aren't new. Ancient thinkers, like the Greek philosopher Aristotle, spent a lot of time thinking about what makes a true friend. He believed friendship wasn't just about fun times, but about sharing virtues and helping each other grow into better people. For him, a real friend wanted what was good for you, not just what benefited them. Here's how it works in daily life. Imagine you're at school, and your friend tells you something really personal. The hidden rule here is trust. You're expected not to share that secret. If you do, that hidden rule is broken, and the friendship feels different, maybe even broken too. Or, if a friend always asks for favors, but never offers help back, it breaks another unwritten rule, that friendship is a two-way street. These hidden rules are like gravity for relationships. You can't see gravity, but you know it's always there, pulling things together or making them fall apart. The same goes for these unseen rules. They constantly shape our bonds, whether we notice them or not. So, understanding these hidden rules can help us build stronger, truer connections. It's about seeing beyond the surface and recognizing the deep, quiet ways we agree to care for each other. Maybe by noticing these silent understandings, we can be better friends ourselves and find more genuine connections in the world. 2. The myth of perfect advice. Have you ever asked for advice, really hoping for one perfect answer? A magic key to solve everything? It's a natural feeling, wanting to know exactly what to do. But here's the thing. Perfect advice, the kind that fits everyone in every situation, just doesn't exist. When someone offers advice, they're sharing their unique view. It's shaped by what they know, what they believe, and what worked for them. Their past, both good and tough, forms what they say. Think of it like they're looking through their own window at the world. It's a valuable view, yes, but your window, your experience, is different. Long ago, the Greek thinker Socrates believed true wisdom wasn't about being told answers. It was about asking good questions and figuring things out yourself. He didn't hand out solutions, he helped people think deeply to find their own truths. He knew what was right for one person might not be for another, because every life journey is unique. Imagine learning a new video game. Someone might tell you the perfect strategy for a level, but you still have to play it yourself. Your hands move differently. Your timing is unique. The advice is a guide. It's not the winning itself. You win by playing. So when you get advice, listen closely. Think about it. See if it fits your life. Take what helps and gently let go of what doesn't. Your life is your own path. Others can point out signs, but you are the one walking it. Making your own choices, that's where real strength grows. It's about trusting the wisdom you build inside yourself, not just finding a perfect answer from someone else. Save Han. How fear can control you. Have you ever felt a knot in your stomach, a quiet voice telling you, no? That feeling is fear. It's more than just being scared. Fear can become a quiet voice inside us, directing our choices. Fear's first job is to keep us safe. It makes us pull away from a hot stove or run from danger. That's good. But here's the thing. Sometimes, fear grows beyond real danger. It imagines threats that aren't there. It can tell you not to try out for the school play because you might forget lines. It might say, don't speak up in class, because what if your answer is wrong? Many people, even ancient thinkers, knew this. They knew fear could stop people from growing. Old thinkers said knowing yourself was key. If you knew what truly scared you, you could decide if those fears were real or just shadows. Imagine wanting to try out for the basketball team. You love playing, but you're worried you won't be good enough, or others will laugh. That fear, that voice, might tell you to stay home. Don't bother, it whispers. If you listen, you miss the chance to play, improve, or make new friends. This fear isn't protecting you. It's stopping you from something amazing. So here's what I found. Fear isn't bad. It's part of being human. But when it starts to make your decisions, when it keeps you small, that's when we pay attention. Understanding how fear works gives us power. It helps us see that sometimes
The biggest barrier isn't outside us, but a quiet voice inside. Recognizing that voice means you can decide if it's truly protecting you or simply holding you back. You real serious. That another when you will. The idea that you can't change your mind. Have you ever felt stuck? Like once you say something or believe something, you can't ever change it. That heavy idea is often carried without us realizing. But here's the thing. Thinking you can't change your mind can actually trap you. It's like building a wall around your thoughts. You pick one path, one opinion, and then feel you must stick to it no matter what new information comes along. It's as if changing your mind means you were wrong before, or that you're weak. But is that true? Is changing your mind weakness? For a long time, people saw being consistent as key. Not wavering was seen as strong character. Think about old stories of leaders who never changed their decisions. It made them seem powerful. But even ancient thinkers like Socrates believed in asking questions constantly. He saw learning meant being open to new ideas. He saw wisdom not in knowing everything, but in knowing what you don't know. Imagine you're learning to ride a skateboard. You might think arms out wide is the only way to balance. Then, a friend shows you how to shift your weight, and it's easier. You changed your mind, and that wasn't a failure. It was learning. In science, this happens a lot. Scientists form theories, then new evidence appears. They change their theories. That's how science moves forward. It's not being wrong, it's getting closer to what's true. So, what if changing your mind isn't a flaw, but a strength? What if it's a sign of growth, of wisdom, of being open to the world as it is? Being able to shift your perspective, to welcome new ideas, means you're always learning, becoming a deeper, more understanding person. It means you're free to think. Save why sometimes less is more. Have you ever felt like you needed more of something to be happy? More friends, more clothes, more apps on your phone? It's a common feeling, this idea that more always means better. But what if that's not always true? What if sometimes the truest strength, the deepest peace, comes from having less? This is the quiet power of less is more. It's not about being empty or missing out. It's about finding clarity. It's about focusing on what truly matters and letting go of what doesn't. Think of it like a cluttered room. When there's too much stuff, it's hard to see what's important. But when you clear things out, suddenly you notice the light, the space, the beauty you missed before. This idea isn't new. Ancient thinkers long ago often talked about living simply. They found that when you weren't chasing after lots of things, your mind became calmer. They believed true wisdom came from within, not from what you owned. In art and design, some of the most powerful creations are incredibly simple. Think of a single, perfect note in a song, or a plain white wall that lets a single painting truly shine. Here's a way this might work in your own life. Imagine you have a big project for school. You could try to do 10 different things for it, making it super complicated. Or you could pick just one main idea, focus on it, and make that one thing truly excellent. Which one do you think would be stronger? The one with everything thrown in, or the one that's clear and strong because it's focused? It's like cooking. Too many spices can ruin a dish, but a few, chosen carefully, can make it perfect. This applies to our minds too. When our thoughts are cluttered with too many worries, too many distractions, we can miss the simple truths. Sometimes, by stepping back, by choosing what to let go of, we create space. And in that space, we can hear our own thoughts more clearly. We can find a quiet strength that doesn't need lots of things to feel full. It's a teaching that invites you to look closely, to see the profound meaning in simplicity, and to discover how much richer life can be when you focus on what truly nourishes your spirit. You are the expected subversion. The teaching that everyone gets a trophy. Have you ever thought about what makes a victory truly feel earned? Like what gives winning its special shine? Here's the thing. In recent years, an idea grew that says everyone should get a prize, just for showing up. It's called the everyone gets a trophy teaching. The goal behind it was kind, to make sure no one felt left out, to boost self-esteem, and to keep spirits high. No one loses, everyone wins. Sounds nice, right? But here's the problem. For most of human history, and even in nature,
growth works differently. Think about a tiny sapling trying to become a strong tree. It doesn't get a trophy just for being a seed. It has to push through the soil, stretch towards the sun, and stand strong against the wind and rain. Those struggles aren't fun, but they are exactly what make its roots deep and its trunk sturdy. If life was always easy, if the wind never blew, the tree wouldn't be strong enough to stand on its own. Consider learning to ride a bike. You don't just get a "I participated" award after your first wobbly attempt. You fall, you scrape your knee, you get frustrated, but each fall teaches you something. Each time you push off, you get a little bit better. The real prize isn't a trophy for trying. It's the amazing feeling of finally balancing, pedaling, and soaring down the street all by yourself. That feeling is earned through effort, through mistakes, and through the choice to keep trying even when it's hard. So when we give everyone a trophy just for showing up, we might accidentally take away something important. We might take away the deep joy of truly earning something, the pride that comes from overcoming a challenge, and the lessons we learn from not winning every time. Sometimes, the most valuable lessons are found not in the easy wins, but in the tough battles where we learn what we're truly made of. CS. When we talked about evoking on mind tension before this weekend, waiting love friend, in Western love waiting, hearing else the fine becoming hearing with, and one pasting this log, Lobel of waiting was unfortunately, like you on own the waiting was invest exactly. Now we're ansly, when we talked about one personal glosses, we'll enjoy there, if you learn the waiting from people in a go, we commit anything right now. This is so many way, we'll enjoy there, we want excellently enjoy there. Think about it, many wise people throughout history, from ancient Greek thinkers pondering life's mysteries, to quiet philosophers in far-off lands like ancient China, understood something profound about time. They believed true power often came from patience, from truly letting things unfold in their own time and at their own pace. They saw waiting not as wasted moments, but as a necessary step, a vital part of growth. Consider a tiny seed, tucked away and buried deep in the dark soil. It doesn't immediately burst into a towering tree. No, it waits. For days, for weeks, sometimes even much longer. But during that quiet waiting, incredible unseen definitionment, things are happening beneath the surface. Roots are slowly forming. A tiny stem is getting ready. All the essential parts needed for life are quietly taking shape. Or picture a fuzzy caterpillar wrapped tightly inside its chrysalis. From the outside, it seems utterly still, just waiting. But inside that silent cocoon, a complete and truly amazing transformation is taking place. It's not just a caterpillar anymore. It's slowly becoming something entirely new. A beautiful butterfly, ready for flight and freedom. This is the real secret power of waiting. It's not passive. In fact, it's deeply active. It's a period of crucial, unseen work. It's a time for new ideas to fully mature, for strong feelings to settle and become clear, for problems to slowly reveal their own solutions. It's about trusting that some things truly need their own unique pace to grow strong, healthy, and lasting. Rushing them too much often makes them fragile or incomplete. So, the next time you find yourself waiting, remember, you might actually be in the middle of a powerful, necessary process, one that requires your patience. It's a moment to trust life's natural rhythm, and perhaps to find a quiet kind of magic and inner strength within yourself. The myth of the easy button. Have you ever wished for an easy button? A magic switch you could press to make a tough problem disappear, or instantly learn something without any effort? We all have, right? It's a powerful idea, that there's a shortcut, a special trick, a secret path to get what we want without truly working for it. This is the myth of the easy button. It whispers that we can skip the hard parts, jump over the learning, and somehow arrive at success instantly. But here's the thing, this idea isn't new. For thousands of years, people have dreamed of such a thing. Ancient stories tell of magical items or spells that grant wishes instantly. Philosophers, people who think deeply about life, have often wondered if there's a simple answer to life's big questions. They hoped for a single rule that would make everything clear. But life and learning rarely work that way. Think about learning to play a musical instrument, like a guitar. You can't just press a button and suddenly shred like a rock star. Your fingers need to learn where to go. Your brain needs to connect what you hear to what you do. It takes hours of practice, repeating chords, making mistakes, and trying again. Each tiny improvement feels hard-won. Or imagine building strength. You can't just wish for stronger muscles. You have to lift weights, push your body, and let it rest and grow. It's a process, not a sudden event. And that's why this myth can be tricky. It makes us feel bad when things are hard, making us think we're doing something wrong. But the truth is, real growth, real understanding, and real skill come from effort. They come from leaning into the challenge, not avoiding it. It's in the struggle, slow, steady work, that we truly change and become more. There's a quiet strength in knowing that the path worth taking often has no easy button at all. It just has you, taking one honest step after another. How opinions become facts. Have you ever wondered how an idea, just a thought someone had, can sometimes start to feel like solid truth? It's a strange thing, but opinions can, over time, begin to wear the clothes of facts. Here's the thing. An opinion is what someone thinks or feels. It's personal. A fact is something proven, something we can show is true. Think about it. You might have an opinion that pizza is the best food, but it's a fact that pizza has cheese on it. But sometimes, when an opinion is repeated often enough, by enough people, it starts to gain power. It echoes through halls, gets shared in conversations, and before you know it, people act as if it's undeniable. Long ago, most people believed the sun orbited the earth. It seemed like common sense. You saw the sun move across the sky daily. For centuries, this idea was accepted as a fact. But then, people like Copernicus and Galileo looked closer. They gathered evidence, used math and observation, and showed us that Earth actually goes around the sun. That old fact was an opinion, proven wrong by real evidence. Consider a school rumor. Maybe someone says a certain teacher gives really hard tests. At first, it's just one person's opinion. But if everyone starts saying it, new students might believe it before they even meet the teacher. They might feel nervous for a test just because of this shared opinion. That feeling of truth comes from repetition, not from proof. So, what does this tell us? It reminds us to be careful. It's easy to mistake a widely shared belief for a real fact. And that's why it matters to always ask questions. Always look for the evidence. Because true facts stand on their own, whether one person believes them or a million. Opinions, though, need us to decide if they are truly facts. This quiet understanding can help us see the world more clearly and choose what we believe wisely. All Vanu, Quat County, and Tain, the idea that you have to please everyone. Have you ever felt like you needed everyone to like what you do, or even just like you? It's a common feeling. We often think making everyone happy will make everything okay. But here's the thing. Trying to please absolutely everyone can actually make us feel lost. Think about it. Each person has their own thoughts, their own feelings, and their own way of seeing the world. What makes one person happy might not even matter to another. Imagine trying to paint a picture that every single person on Earth loves. One person might love bright colors. Philosophers from ancient Greece like Socrates talked about knowing yourself. They believed true wisdom came from understanding your own mind, not just following what everyone else thought was right. It's about being true to your values, not changing to fit every new group. Consider what happens when you try to please everyone. It's a bit like a magnet. A magnet has a north and south pole. It attracts certain things but pushes others away. That's just how it works. You wouldn't expect a magnet to attract everything around it, or to have only one pole. In the same way, when you try to be everything for everyone, you lose your own magnetic pull. You become less of who you truly are, trying to fit into countless molds.
So, here's what matters. Understanding that not everyone will agree with you, and that's perfectly normal. It's not a failure if someone doesn't see things your way or doesn't instantly connect with you. Instead, it's about finding your own path, being kind, and acting from a place of genuine belief. Your peace comes from within, not from collecting likes or approvals from every single person you meet.
Why being scared is normal. Have you ever wondered why your heart pounds or your breath catches when something important or unknown is about to happen? It's a strange, powerful feeling, this fear. For a long time, maybe you thought it was a weakness, something you should hide. But here's the thing. Being scared is completely normal. It's a profound part of being human, truly woven right into us from the very beginning. Think about it like this. Way back, long before cities and schools, our earliest human ancestors lived in a wild, untamed world. Real dangers often lurked everywhere, from hungry animals to harsh weather. Their fear wasn't a flaw in their nature. It was an extraordinary survival tool. It was the quick jolt that made them run faster, hide better, or stand strong and protect their family. This ancient alarm system, often called the fight or flight response, is still quietly humming inside us today, tucked deep in our brains. It's an echo from our shared human history, written into our very DNA. So when you feel that rush of nervousness before a big test, or that hesitation before speaking up in class, that's your body's old, wise warning system kicking in. It's not trying to stop you from doing something important. Instead, it's like a sudden boost of extra energy, getting you truly ready for whatever comes next. It's making you pay very close attention. Think of a warning light flickering on in a car. It isn't a sign the car is broken. It simply means you should notice something. Perhaps check the engine or the fuel before continuing. Fear, then, is more than just a feeling to push away or ignore. It's a profound teacher. It shows us what we deeply care about, what we truly value, and what important challenges lie ahead. It's a quiet but powerful thread in the grand story of humanity. So next time you feel that familiar ripple of fear, remember it's a natural whisper from long ago, a clear sign that you are alive, aware, and truly capable of navigating your world, not despite your fears, but often with their gentle guidance. The teaching that you deserve it all. Have you ever heard someone say, "You deserve the best"? Or maybe you felt it yourself, that you should have all the good things just because you're you. This idea, "you deserve it all," sounds nice. It makes us feel special, like the world owes us everything we wish for. It suggests success, comfort, and joy should simply come our way, without much effort or struggle. It's like believing life is a gift where every present inside is exactly what you wanted. But here's the thing. This teaching, while comforting, can lead to unexpected challenges. Long ago, many thinkers believed good things came from hard work, kindness, or wisdom. They spoke about earning your place and building character. Ancient Greeks, for example, talked about virtue, doing good, even when it's hard. They thought you had to work for a good life, not just wait. But in modern times, the message shifted. Ads tell us we deserve a new phone or a fancy car. This idea became connected to our wants, not our efforts. Imagine you're playing a video game. You want to beat the hardest level. If you truly believe you deserve the win, just by showing up, without learning controls or practicing, what happens? You'll probably lose. When you lose, you might feel confused or angry. You might think the game is unfair, even if you didn't practice. This helps you see that wanting isn't the same as earning. Living by "you deserve it all" can make it harder to deal with setbacks. When life doesn't hand us everything we expect, it can feel unfair. It can stop us from trying our best. True happiness often comes not from what we are given, but from what we build, what we learn, and the effort we put in. Perhaps what we truly deserve is the chance to try, to learn, and to grow through effort, not just a life handed to us. It's a deep thought. The unseen impact of your choices. Have you ever stopped to really think about what happens after you make a choice? We usually only see the immediate result, right? Like picking what to eat, then you just eat it. But what if every choice, even the smallest one, sent out tiny ripples into the world? Ripples you might never even notice. This idea isn't new. Ancient thinkers long ago talked about cause and effect. They believed one thing always leads to another. It's like a giant invisible web where everything is connected. Think about the butterfly effect. It suggests a butterfly flapping its wings could cause a storm far away. The main idea is real. Small actions can have surprisingly large outcomes. Here's the thing. Imagine you stay up late playing games instead of studying. You're tired the next day and your test score isn't great. But what about the unseen impact? Maybe that lower score means you don't get into a certain class. This might change the friends you make or skills you develop. Maybe your tiredness makes you grumpy, and that bad mood spreads. Or consider a simpler example. You choose to smile at someone who looks sad. You might forget it seconds later. But for that person, maybe that smile was the only kindness they received all day. It might brighten their afternoon, and they carry that good feeling to someone else. The effect isn't always obvious. It's like a silent chain reaction, moving through people and moments without anyone noticing the first link. So, here's what I found. Our choices, even the quiet ones, are never truly alone. They always touch something, changing something, somewhere. We can barely imagine how. Our lives are more connected than we think. And our actions, no matter how small, hold one right way to solve a problem, one simple fix for all our troubles. We often wish for that, don't we? It's a very human wish. This idea of a master key that unlocks every door, or a magic pill that cures every sickness. But here's the thing. That idea, the myth of a single solution, can actually trip us up. Life is messy. Problems are rarely simple. Think about how many big challenges face the world, or even just our school. Things like poverty, climate change, or even just making a great school play happen. It's easy to look for one grand answer. People have searched for these ultimate truths, or silver bullets, for centuries. Ancient philosophers tried to find one underlying principle for all existence. Medieval alchemists dreamed of one stone that could turn lead into gold and grant eternal life. They were searching for that one big solution to everything. But the real world rarely works that way. Think about trying to build a winning sports team. Is it just about one amazing player? No. A truly great team needs players with different strengths, good coaching, smart strategies, lots of practice, and teamwork. It's a whole system of things working together. No single person or idea can make it happen alone. And that's how it is with most things that really matter. Whether it's fixing a broken relationship, understanding a tough science concept, or even just making a really good meal, it's almost always about many small actions, different ingredients, and various ideas coming together. There's beauty in that, actually. It means there isn't just one path. It means we have options. It means we need to look deeper, to see all the connections and the many different parts that make up the whole. Accepting that things are complex and that solutions are often made of many layers can be a really powerful way to see the world. How what you see isn't always real. Have you ever looked closely at something, only to realize it wasn't quite what you first thought? Maybe you saw a face in a cloud, or a scary shape in bedroom shadows. This feeling, this moment of shifting understanding, touches on a deep truth about how we see the world. Our eyes are amazing. They take in light, color, and shape. But here's the thing. It's not our eyes that truly see. It's our brain. Our brain takes all those signals from our eyes, processes them, and then builds the picture we call reality. It's like a super-fast editor, constantly interpreting and making its best guess. This means what we see isn't always a perfect copy of what's real. Our brains filter things, fill in missing pieces, and sometimes they even play tricks on us. Thousands of years ago, thinkers like the Greek philosopher Plato wondered about this. He imagined people living in a deep cave, seeing only shadows dancing on a wall. These shadows were all they knew.
They believed the shadows were real. But outside the cave, a whole vibrant world existed, creating those shadows.
Plato made us think, are we seeing the full true picture of reality or just shadows? Here's a simple everyday example. Have you ever seen a mirage on a hot sunny road? It looks exactly like water shimmering ahead, doesn't it? But as you get closer, it vanishes. It was never water. Your eyes saw something, but your brain, trying to make sense of the heat waves, interpreted it as a puddle. Another way this happens is with optical illusions, those clever drawings that look like two different things at once. Your brain struggles to decide which one is real. So, the next time you are absolutely sure about something you're seeing, just pause. Ask yourself, is this truly real, or is my amazing brain just showing me what it thinks is real? It helps us remember to be curious and to look deeper than the surface, because the world around us is often much more complex and fascinating than what our first glance might tell us. It shows us that truth can be hidden, waiting to be discovered, beyond our immediate sight.
The idea that doing nothing is bad. Have you ever felt a little guilty for just sitting still? Maybe watching clouds or staring at a wall, doing nothing specific? It's a strange feeling, like you should be busy, always productive, even when you don't want to be. This idea that constant activity is good and stillness is somehow bad is powerful in our world. It teaches us that busy people are successful. If you're not busy, maybe you're falling behind or even lazy. For a long time in history, people thought differently. Ancient philosophers, like thinkers from old Greece, truly valued quiet time. They called it leisure, but it wasn't just fun breaks. For them, leisure was serious. It was a chance to think deeply, to reflect on life's big questions, or to simply observe the world. This quiet contemplation was seen as a very important way to learn and grow. Then came the Industrial Revolution, where machines needed constant work. Our modern world values speed and production. The idea of always doing, always producing, grew strong. It became a core part of how we measure success. But here's a different way to look at it. Think about a tree in winter. It looks like it's doing nothing, right? No leaves, no growth. But inside, it's not truly inactive. It's resting, gathering energy, getting ready for spring. Or think about your own brain. Sometimes, the best ideas, the cleverest solutions, don't come when you're working hard. They pop up when you're walking the dog, or just lying in bed, not trying to figure things out. Your brain isn't off, it's working in a different, more relaxed way, making connections quietly. It's like charging a phone. You can't use it constantly without letting it rest. So, maybe doing nothing isn't actually nothing at all. Maybe it's a quiet, important kind of doing. It can be a necessary time for your mind to breathe, for your spirit to catch up, for new thoughts to form. Rest isn't laziness. Sometimes the most powerful growth, the deepest understanding, happens when we simply allow ourselves to be. It's about finding balance and knowing that stillness can be just as valuable as action. While you don't need all the answers, do you ever feel like you have to know everything? Like there's a test for life and you need to get all the right answers right now? Here's the thing, you don't. And that's not a weakness, it's actually a strength. Think about it. When you don't have all the answers, your mind stays open. It leaves room for curiosity, for new ideas to come in. It means you're still learning, still growing. Long ago, an ancient Greek philosopher named Socrates was famous for saying he knew only one thing, that he knew nothing. It sounds strange, doesn't it? But he meant that truly understanding how much you don't know is the first step to wisdom. He taught that asking questions and being okay with not having an immediate answer was more powerful than thinking you already had it all figured out. This isn't about being dumb. It's about being deeply open to discovery. Imagine you're exploring a giant, beautiful forest you've never seen before. If you had a map that showed every single tree, every stream, every path, all at once, would it be as exciting? Probably not. The joy of exploring comes from the unknown, from discovering a hidden waterfall or a new path you didn't expect. Not knowing makes the adventure real. It keeps your eyes open, looking for what's next, what might be around the bend. So it's okay to have big questions with no clear answers. It's okay to wonder. Life isn't a puzzle where every piece has to snap into place right now. It's more like that forest, always inviting you to explore further.
Embrace the mystery. Let your questions be your guides, not burdens. Because sometimes, the most profound understanding comes from simply being curious and accepting that some things are meant to be discovered slowly, over time. The teaching that always be busy. Have you ever felt like you need to be busy every second of every day? Like if you're not doing something, you're somehow wasting time or not doing enough. This feeling comes from a teaching that tells us always be busy. It whispers that constant action, constant doing, is the only way to be valuable or successful. It makes us think that quiet moments are unproductive and that stopping means falling behind. Here's the thing. This idea isn't new, but it's really strong in our modern world. For a long time, across many cultures, people understood the importance of rest and reflection. Thinkers from ancient Greece, for example, believed that true wisdom often came not from constant activity, but from calm thinking and just being. They saw value in quiet contemplation, in simply existing and processing the world around you. But today, the world often praises busyness. We see people with packed schedules and think, wow, they must be important. But here's the problem. Imagine your phone. It can do so much, right? But if you keep running apps, playing games, and never plug it in, what happens? The battery drains. It slows down. Eventually, it just shuts off. Your mind and body work a lot like that. If you're always busy, always on, you don't get a chance to recharge. You miss out on the quiet moments where your brain can sort through thoughts, where new ideas can pop up, or where you can just feel peace. And that's why it matters. This teaching can make us feel guilty for resting, for dreaming, for simply being still. It pushes us to fill every gap, even when our minds are begging for a break. Maybe the deep truth is that some of the most important things in life don't happen when we're busy doing, but when we're quiet, allowing ourselves to just be. Maybe true growth isn't always about moving forward fast, but sometimes about pausing and looking inward. The hidden cost of free things. Have you ever picked up something that was free? Maybe a free app for your phone or a free sample at the store. It feels like a gift, right? Like you're getting something for nothing? But here's the thing. In life, almost nothing is truly free. There's always a hidden cost, even if you don't pay with money. Think about it like this. If someone gives you a free puppy, it's not really free, is it? You still have to feed it, walk it, and care for it. That puppy costs you time, effort, and future money. This idea that there's always a cost has been around for a long time. Wise people throughout history have noticed that everything has a give and take. You gain something, but you also give something up. It's about balance. So, how does this show up in our daily lives? Think about many of the apps you use on your phone. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. They're all free to download. You don't pay money to use them. But what are you paying with? You're paying with your attention and your time. Companies that make these apps collect information about you, what videos you watch, what you search for. This information is valuable to advertisers. So, your attention and your personal data become the currency. That's what you pay to use the free service. And that's why it matters to think about this. Next time something seems completely free, pause and wonder, what am I really giving in return? What am I spending, even if it's not dollar bills? Understanding this helps you see the world more clearly and make smarter choices about what you truly value. Because what looks like nothing can sometimes ask for the most. The myth of instant gratification. Have you ever wanted something so badly you felt like you couldn't wait another second? Maybe it was a new video game or just the end of a long school day. That feeling, that need to get what you want right now, is what we call instant gratification. It's the idea that getting things immediately makes us happy. But here's the thing, often that quick happiness is a bit of a myth. Think about it. Our world today is set up for speed. We can order food with an app, stream movies, and get answers with a quick search. It feels like everything should be fast, easy, right at our fingertips. But humans haven't always lived this way. For thousands of years, people waited for nearly everything. Farmers waited months for crops. Builders took years to construct a house. Learning a skill meant countless hours of practice. Ancient thinkers, like those in Greece, talked about how important patience was. They believed true strength came from working hard for something important, not just grabbing what was easy. Here's an example that might help. Imagine you want to learn to play the guitar. You could try to play a song perfectly on your very first day, You'd probably get frustrated, maybe even quit. But what if you practice just a little bit every day? Learning chords, practicing scales, making small improvements over weeks and months. It wouldn't be instant, it would be hard work, but eventually you'd be able to play your favorite songs. That deeper satisfaction, that feeling of real accomplishment comes from the effort and the wait. So the myth of instant gratification isn't that getting something quickly is always bad. It's that we often miss out on something far more valuable when we only chase the quick wins. The deepest joys and the strongest skills are often built slowly with time and effort. Maybe true happiness isn't a quick burst, but a quiet, steady light that grows brighter with patience. It makes us wonder, what amazing things could we build if we learn to just wait? How small choices change big things. Have you ever stopped to think about how much power a tiny moment holds? It's easy to believe that only big decisions like moving to a new city or choosing a career truly change our lives. But what if the smallest things, the choices we make almost without noticing, are the ones that actually shape our world in the biggest way? Here's the thing. History is full of examples where a seemingly small event led to massive consequences. You might have heard of the butterfly effect idea. It suggests that a tiny change in one place can cause huge, unforeseen results far down the line in a complex system. Imagine a butterfly flapping its wings in Brazil, and that tiny air movement eventually contributing to a storm thousands of miles away. This isn't meant to be taken literally, of course. It's a powerful way to understand how even the slightest push can set off a chain reaction. Thinkers and philosophers for centuries have pondered this very idea. They understood that every action, no matter how small, sends out ripples into the world. These ripples eventually meet other ripples, growing and building into something much larger than the original splash. Consider something from your own life. Imagine you decide to spend just 15 minutes each day learning something new, perhaps a few words in a different language, or practicing a simple drawing. On any one day, 15 minutes doesn't seem like much at all. It's a tiny drop in the bucket. But if you keep doing this every single day for a year, those small drops add up to over 90 hours of dedicated learning. That's like taking a whole extra class, or even two. You wouldn't just know a few words or have one drawing, you'd have built a new skill, a new part of yourself, simply by consistently making that one small choice. This idea reaches deep into how we become who we are. Every kind word you share, every time you choose patience over anger, every bit of effort you put into understanding something difficult, these are all small choices. They might feel like nothing on their own, but over time, they slowly, quietly, build the person you become. They shape your mind, your habits, and ultimately, your future. So, the quiet power of a single choice, no matter how small, is something truly worth reflecting on. It teaches us that our daily acts of choosing truly matter, far more than we often realize. And recognizing this power can change how we see our own potential. The idea that grown-ups know everything. Have you ever wondered if grown-ups really know everything? It's easy to think they do. They seem to have all the answers, especially about school or how the world works. But here's the thing. No one, not even the smartest adult, knows everything. The world is huge, always changing, and full of mysteries. Think about it. For thousands of years, people thought the earth was flat. Smart thinkers and scholars believed it. Then brave sailors and scientists, over many centuries, proved it was round. They didn't just know it, they discovered it. And that's how knowledge often works. We learn, we test, and sometimes we find out what we thought was true isn't quite right. Even brilliant people like the ancient Greek philosopher Socrates, known for his wisdom, famously said that the only thing he knew for certain was that he knew nothing. He understood that true wisdom comes from admitting what you don't know and staying curious. Here's an example closer to home. Imagine a doctor. When your grandparent was young, doctors knew a lot, but medicine today is very different. New diseases appear, new treatments are found. A good doctor isn't someone who already knows everything, but someone who keeps learning every single day. They read new research, they study new techniques, their knowledge grows. It doesn't just stay fixed. So, This idea that grown-ups have all the answers can actually be a bit misleading. It means we all, no matter our age, are always on a journey of discovery. It means that asking questions, even silly ones, is really important. It means there's always more to learn, for everyone. And that's not a weakness. It's a wonderful, never-ending adventure. It leaves room for your questions, your ideas, and your own discoveries about the world. And that's how we all grow, together. Why being wrong is okay. Have you ever worried about being wrong? That feeling like you've hit a wall? But what if being wrong isn't a dead end, but a stepping stone? For a long time, people believed the earth was flat. They believed it because that's what their eyes told them. But then, brave thinkers, through careful observation, realized it wasn't true. The earth was round, and later, people thought the sun revolved around the earth. Watching the sun move, it made sense. But then, scientists like Galileo showed us we were wrong. These weren't just mistakes. Each time humanity realized it was wrong about something big, it didn't mean we failed. It meant we learned something deeper, something truer. Here's the thing. Being wrong isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign that you're trying. Think about a scientist in a lab. They try an experiment. Their idea might be proven wrong, but that wrong result actually tells them something important. It helps them find a better path, a new question, a deeper understanding. Think about building with Legos. You might try putting pieces together in a wrong way many times, but each time you learn what doesn't fit. You get closer to building the perfect model. So, when you find yourself wrong, try not to shrink back. Instead, lean into it. See it as an opening. It means you've just discovered one way something doesn't work, or one idea that isn't quite right, and that clears the path for you to find what is right. It frees you to keep asking, keep exploring, and keep growing without fear. The teaching that life is a competition. Have you ever felt like you're always in a race? Like you constantly need to be better than someone else, get higher grades, or win at everything? This feeling often comes from a deep idea, the teaching that life is a competition. It says life is a big game, where only a few can truly succeed by outshining or outperforming others. It tells us resources are limited, and we must fight for our share. This way of thinking isn't new. For centuries, people have talked about survival of the fittest, sometimes applying it too broadly to human society. During the industrial age, when factories and businesses grew, the idea of competition became really strong. People believed the best ideas and hardest workers would rise to the top, pushing others aside. It's like a ladder, where only one person can be on the top rung. But what if that's not the full story? Think about an old forest. You might see trees competing for sunlight, trying to grow taller. But look closer. You'll see roots connecting different trees underground through fungi. These fungi help trees share water and nutrients. Even a big tree dominating is part of a larger cooperating system. The forest thrives through complex connections and shared support, not just constant battle. So, if we spend all our energy trying to win against everyone, what do we miss? We might miss chances to connect, help, or learn from others. We might forget our own growth doesn't have to come at someone else's expense. Maybe life isn't just about who finishes first, but about the journey, the people we walk with, and the unique contributions we each bring. Real strength isn't just in winning, but in helping others rise too. Just Aries. People have collected things not just for their practical use, but for what they represented. Ancient kings wore crowns not just to keep their hair neat, but to show power. Families passed down jewelry, not just for its sparkle, but for the memories and history it holds. Consider a popular brand of sneakers. Sure, they help you run or walk, but the secret behind why many people buy them goes deeper. It's often about the feeling of being part of a group, or feeling cool, or even feeling like a successful athlete. The shoes themselves are just fabric and rubber, but the idea attached to them, the image they project, that's the real power. It's like music isn't just sounds. It carries emotions and memories. The notes are simple, but the feeling they create is complex and real. So, when you look at something you want to buy, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, what story is this item telling? What feeling am I chasing? Understanding this secret doesn't mean you shouldn't buy things. It simply means you can choose more thoughtfully. You can see past the surface and truly understand what you're bringing into your life and why. It helps you see yourself and the world a little more clearly.
The myth of happily ever after.
We've all heard it, right? And they lived happily ever after. It's the perfect ending to so many stories, from fairy tales to romantic comedies. But have you ever stopped to really think about what that phrase means? The truth is, life isn't a story that just stops at a happy part. It keeps going. There's no magical finish line where everything stays perfect forever. Happy moments come, and then other moments come too. Sad ones, confusing ones, boring ones. This idea of a forever happy ending isn't new. For thousands of years, people have told stories of heroes and heroines finally finding peace. Ancient myths often ended with gods or powerful figures achieving a kind of ultimate rest or reward. It was a way for humans to dream of a world without problems, a world where the struggles finally stopped. It's a comforting thought, to imagine that one day all your hard work pays off and you never have to worry again. But this comfort is really just a wish, a hope for something stable in a world that's always moving. Think about learning to ride a bike. You don't just learn it perfectly one day and never fall or wobble again. You learn, you practice, you get better. But even experienced riders can hit a bump or get a flat tire. Life is more like that continuous ride, with new paths and challenges always popping up. Or consider a strong friendship. It isn't just built one day and then it's perfect forever. It grows, it changes. Sometimes you have disagreements. Sometimes you learn new things about each other. It takes effort, always. So, the myth of happily ever after isn't about finding a final destination. It's about accepting that life is a journey with many different moments. True happiness often comes from learning to live with the changes, big and small. It's about finding contentment in the process, in the everyday moments, not just waiting for some perfect end that never truly arrives. It's realizing that joy is woven into the fabric of ongoing life, not just tied to a ribbon at the very end of a story. Couple 11-90-20. How expectations can hurt you. Have you ever felt a sharp sting of disappointment, not because something terrible happened, but because something different happened than what you thought it would? This feeling often comes from our expectations. Here's the thing. An expectation is like a picture you create in your mind. It's how you imagine something will or should turn out. But when reality doesn't match that picture, even if reality isn't bad on its own, it can make you feel let down. Think about it like this. Your mind builds a perfect little understood this deeply. They realize that much of our suffering isn't caused by the outside world. Instead, it comes from our internal reactions to that world. They knew that if you expect the world to be a certain way, and it isn't, you're setting yourself up for pain. Their wisdom suggested that a calmer mind comes from accepting things as they are, rather than constantly wishing they were different. Consider a simple example. Maybe you're really looking forward to a brand new video game. You've seen all the trailers, read all the reviews, and you have this incredible image in your head of how fun it will be. You just know it's going to be the best game ever. But then you finally get to play it, and it's good. It's okay. It's not bad, not really, but it doesn't quite match that amazing, perfect game you built up in your mind. The game isn't the problem, it's the gap between your sky-high expectation and the actual experience. That gap creates the feeling of disappointment. So, here's what matters. Learning to be okay with whatever comes. It means holding our expectations a little more loosely, like sand in an open hand. We can still hope for good things, but we don't have to demand that reality bends to our will. This can help you find a quieter kind of peace, a way to be more present with what is, instead of always chasing what isn't. Time in 2023. Financial context in 2023. The idea that you need to be happy all the time. Have you ever felt like you have to be happy? Like, all the time? Maybe you see social media posts showing only smiles and perfect moments. It can make you think if you're not constantly joyful, something's wrong. But here's the thing. This idea that we must be happy every second can actually hurt us. Life isn't just one feeling. It's a mix of joy, sadness, surprise, even frustration. These aren't problems to fix, they're part of being human. Think about a tree. It needs sunlight, but also rain, and even cold to grow stronger. Each part of the cycle helps it. For thousands of years, people have thought about emotions. Ancient thinkers like the Stoics believed true wisdom wasn't about avoiding tough feelings, but understanding them. They taught all feelings are signals. Sadness can tell us we value something lost. Anger might point to unfairness. Forcing happiness when you feel something else is like trying to make your body only feel one temperature. Sometimes you're cold, sometimes warm, and that's just how it is. Imagine your body. When you get sick, you feel tired or achy. Those feelings tell you, hey, something needs attention. If you ignored the ache and just tried to smile, you might not get better. The same is true for your mind. When you feel sad or stressed, it's a signal. It's telling you something important. So, instead of chasing constant happiness, what if we just made space for all our feelings? What if we understood that quiet or difficult moments are as important as moments of great joy? When, formal, we accept all our feelings, we learn more. We become more whole. This path of deep understanding leads to calm strength. It's not about being happy all the time, but about being truly present for all of life. Number 10. Why your doubts are important. Have you ever felt a little unsure about something everyone else seemed to believe? Maybe a rule or an idea, or even just a story. That feeling, that small pause in your mind, is doubt. And here's the thing, your doubts are not a weakness. They are actually a quiet power. For a long time, people thought doubt was something to avoid. It made things messy. But think about it this way. If no one ever doubted, how would we ever learn anything new? How would we correct mistakes? Many great discoveries began with someone asking, is that really true? Take ancient Greek thinkers, for example. Socrates, a famous philosopher, didn't claim to know all the answers. Instead, he questioned everything. He doubted what people thought they knew, and by doing so, he helped others think more deeply for themselves. Before him, many just accepted old ideas, but his doubts, and the doubts of others who came after him, pushed the world to search for better understanding. Think about a time you tried to figure out a trick in a video game. You might have tried one way, then doubted it and tried another. Each doubt led you to test a new idea. Eventually, you found the right solution. That's how real understanding often works. It's not about having all the answers right away. It's about being brave enough to question the answers you've been given. So, when a doubt whispers in your mind, listen closely. It's not telling you that you're wrong. It's inviting you to look closer, to ask more questions, to dig deeper. It's asking you to truly understand, not just accept. Your doubts are a compass, guiding you toward a more honest, more personal truth. They are how you build your own understanding of the world, brick by thoughtful brick. Number 3. The teaching that technology solves everything. Have you ever wondered if the perfect app or a super smart robot could just fix all your troubles? It's easy to think that way sometimes. This is the idea behind the teaching that technology solves everything. It means believing that with enough clever machines or advanced computer programs, we can make every bad thing go away. For a long time, people have looked for tools to make life better. From inventing the wheel to building complex factories, we've always used our brains to create things that help us. And it's true, Technology has brought us incredible benefits. It helps us talk to family far away, learn new things instantly, and even treat sicknesses that were once deadly. So, it's natural to feel like technology is the answer to everything. But here's the thing. Imagine you're trying to resolve a big argument with a friend. No matter how many messaging apps you have or how fast your internet is,
A simple text message or a video call can't truly fix the hurt feelings. Technology can give you the tools to communicate, but it won't give you the wisdom to apologize sincerely, or the understanding to forgive. That comes from inside you, from patience and empathy. Another example. A powerful new car can get you across the country super fast, but it won't tell you why you're going, or if you'll be happy when you get there. Those deeper questions about purpose and happiness aren't something a machine can answer. So, while technology is amazing and helps us in countless ways, it's really just a tool. It makes certain things possible, but it doesn't deal with the core human parts of problems, our choices, our feelings, our wisdom, or our kindness. True solutions often need a change in our hearts and minds, not just a smarter device. And that's why it matters. Tony Law, The Hidden Power of Mistakes. Have you ever felt that sharp sting of disappointment when you realize you've made a mistake? Maybe it was a wrong answer on a test, or saying something you immediately regretted to a friend. For a long time, we've been taught to see mistakes as pure failures, things to avoid at all costs. But here's the thing. What if mistakes aren't just acceptable, but actually hold a kind of secret power? What if they are hidden pathways, guiding us toward truly deep understanding? Think about it. Many of the greatest breakthroughs in history didn't happen because everything went perfectly. In fact, many happened because something went wrong. Even wise thinkers from ancient times understood this. They knew that to really learn and grow, you often had to try things, see them fail, and then try again. They believed the path to knowledge was rarely a straight line. It often involved many unexpected detours and what seemed like wrong turns. A perfect example is the discovery of penicillin, one of the most important medicines ever. A scientist named Alexander Fleming was studying bacteria. One day, he went on vacation and accidentally left some petri dishes open. When he returned, one dish had mold growing on it, which usually means the experiment is ruined. But here's what happened. Around the mold, the bacteria simply weren't growing. Most people would have just tossed the dish away, but Fleming, instead, looked closer. This mistake, this accidental contamination, led him to discover the world's first antibiotic, a medicine that has now saved countless lives. So, this can help you think about mistakes in a whole new way. They are not dead ends that prove you're not smart enough. Instead, they are often strong signs that you are trying, that you are experimenting, that you are truly engaging with the world. Every misstep can actually show you a different path, one you might never have noticed otherwise. Sometimes, the most important lessons we learn are found not in getting everything right the first time, but in thoughtfully understanding what went wrong. It's about finding the unexpected gift in every stumble, realizing that mistakes can be the very things that move us forward. E3 of the world, the myth of simple problems. Have you ever tried to fix something that seemed really simple, like a bicycle chain that just wouldn't stay on? You put it back in place, but then it pops off again, and again. Suddenly, what looked like an easy fix becomes a puzzle. Is the derailleur bent? Are the cogs worn out? Is the chain itself too stretched? What felt like one small thing is actually tangled up in a bunch of other issues, all connected. Here's the thing. Most of what we call simple problems are actually much deeper. For a long time, people tended to think that everything had one clear cause and one easy solution. Ancient thinkers sometimes looked for a single root to every issue. If a disease spread, they might blame one specific bad thing, but as we've learned more about the world, especially through science, we've come to see that everything connects, just like that tricky bicycle. The problem you see is often just a symptom, a small part of something bigger happening underneath. Think about it this way. Your friend is upset and snaps at you. It feels like a simple problem. They were rude. But is it truly simple? Maybe they didn't sleep well last night. Perhaps they're worried about a big test or had a disagreement with someone else earlier. That simple rudeness is often part of a larger story, a hidden web of feelings and events that are all linked together. Seeing only the snap without looking at the whole picture means you're missing the true problem and its many roots. So, when we face a challenge, whether it seems small or huge, it's easy to want a quick, easy answer. But what if the very idea of a simple problem is a myth we tell ourselves, a story to make the world feel less confusing? This isn't meant to make things feel hopeless. Instead, it invites us to become like detectives. We learn to look beyond the surface, to ask why, again and again, with real curiosity. It teaches us patience and a deep respect for how everything in life is woven together, often in ways we can barely imagine. It makes us realize that true understanding is a journey, not a quick fix. How being good isn't always rewarded. Have you ever done something truly good, something right and kind, only to feel like it didn't really matter in the end? Or maybe even worse, something unfair happened to you right after. It's a strange feeling, isn't it? We're taught that being good brings good things, that kindness is always rewarded. But here's the thing. Sometimes the world doesn't work that way, not in the short term anyway. For thousands of years, people have wrestled with this idea. Think about old stories or ancient wisdom. Many cultures have tales where good, honest people face hardship, pain, or betrayal, even when they've done nothing wrong. They weren't rewarded for their virtue. Sometimes they were punished or simply overlooked. This isn't about giving up on being good. It's about understanding that the universe doesn't always hand out immediate awards for every kind act. Life isn't a simple transaction where every good deed instantly gets a prize. Consider this. You might spend hours helping a friend study for a big test, explaining tricky concepts, sharing your notes. You do it because you care, because you want them to succeed. But then, maybe your own grades don't improve, or that friend doesn't offer to help you when you need it. Or maybe despite all your hard work and honesty in a group project, someone else gets all the credit, or the project still doesn't win the prize. It can feel deeply disappointing, like your efforts were invisible. But here's what this teaching truly means. The reward for being good often isn't something
You can see or touch. It's not about getting a medal or a thank you note every time. The real reward is in the act itself. It's in the quiet strength you build within yourself, the integrity you develop, and the peace that comes from knowing you acted from a place of genuine kindness. Being good isn't about what you get back from the world. It's about who you choose to be, no matter what happens around you. That kind of good is powerful, and it always matters, even when no one else seems to notice. Meaning rip, the idea that what you see is all there is. Have you ever stopped to wonder if what you see around you right now is everything? What if the world is far bigger, far stranger, than what our eyes, ears, and hands can tell us? It's a natural human tendency to believe that what we experience through our senses is the whole truth. We trust what we see. We believe what we can touch. But this idea that our reality is only what our senses show us might be one of the most limiting beliefs we hold. Think back to ancient times. Even then, smart thinkers like Plato questioned this. He told a story about people trapped in a cave, only able to see shadows dancing on a wall. They believed these shadows were the real world, never knowing there was a vibrant, actual world outside. This story reminds us that our personal view might just be a shadow of something much larger. Modern science also points to this. Take light, for example. We see visible light, the colors of the rainbow. But beyond red, there's infrared light. Beyond violet, there's ultraviolet light. These types of light are all around us, affecting things, but our eyes simply aren't built to see them. A snake sees in infrared. A bee sees in ultraviolet. Their worlds look completely different from ours, even though they're in the same space. Or, think about sound. A dog hears a high-pitched whistle, but to us, it's silent. The sound exists, but our ears can't pick it up. So, here's the thing. Just because we can't see, hear, or touch something, it doesn't mean it isn't real. It means our tools for sensing the world are limited. This teaching asks us to consider what else might be out there, unseen, unheard, untouchable, yet profoundly real. It invites us to open our minds to possibilities beyond our immediate grasp, to understand that our perception is just one small key to an immense universe of truths. And that's why it matters. You ever wondered why it feels so easy to find answers online? You type a question and instantly 100 pages pop up. It's like magic. But here's the thing. Just because something appears quickly doesn't mean it's true. The internet is a vast open space, like a gigantic chalkboard where anyone can write anything they want. Good ideas, bad ideas, even totally made-up stories. For thousands of years, people usually got their information from elders, or from books that took great effort to create and share. There were fewer sources, and often, some trusted people would check facts before something became widely known. Now, with a few clicks, anyone can publish an opinion, a rumor, or even a lie, and it can spread around the world in seconds. There's no one checking every single word. Think about those amazing, impossible videos you sometimes see on social media. Maybe a pet talking or someone doing an unbelievable trick. They look so real, don't they? Your eyes see it, and your brain wants to believe it, but often those videos are edited. They've been changed to look like something they're not. They play a trick on your mind, because it's easier to believe what's right in front of you than to question it. So, this isn't about being suspicious of everything. It's about something much deeper, understanding how easily information can be shaped or even made up by others. It asks you to pause and think, who made this? What do they want me to believe? And why? It's a quiet skill, learning to sort through the noise. This skill helps you find what's true, not just what's loud or popular. It's about building a solid foundation for your own understanding of the world. The teaching that your thoughts are always true. Have you ever had a thought pop into your head and it just felt real, like a solid fact? Maybe it was about what someone else was thinking, or about how a situation would turn out. And because it felt so true, you just believed it? Here's the thing. One powerful idea that can sometimes lead us astray is the teaching that your thoughts are always true. This means believing every single idea, worry, or judgment that floats through your mind as if it's the absolute truth of the world. But really, thoughts are more like clouds passing in the sky. They come and go. Sometimes they look dark and stormy, other times light and airy. Just because a cloud is dark doesn't mean a storm is actually happening right now. For centuries, wise thinkers have pointed out that our minds can play tricks on us. They've taught that it's important to question what we think, to not just take every mental whisper as gospel. Our brains are amazing, but they also make quick guesses and assumptions to help us understand the world. And sometimes those guesses are wrong. Think about this. You're walking down the school hallway, and you see two friends whispering and looking your way. Immediately, a thought might jump into your head. They're talking about me. They're saying something mean. That thought feels so strong, so true, it might even make your stomach tighten. But is it actually true? Maybe they were just talking about a movie they saw, and you just happened to be in their line of sight. Your thought, while powerful, was just an interpretation, not a fact. Understanding that our thoughts aren't always perfect reflections of reality can be a huge relief. It means we don't have to be controlled by every worry or every quick judgment our minds create. We can observe our thoughts, look at them calmly, and then decide if they hold true. This doesn't mean ignoring your feelings, but rather giving yourself space to question them and choosing how you respond. It's about knowing you have a choice in what you believe, and that's a deep kind of freedom. The secret life of money. Have you ever stopped to wonder what money truly is? Not just the coins in your pocket or the numbers on a screen, but the idea of it. Here's the thing. Money is one of the most powerful inventions ever, but it's also deeply strange. Long ago, before money, people traded things directly. A farmer might swap wheat for shoes. But what if the shoemaker didn't need wheat? This made things hard. So people started using items everyone agreed had value, like shells or shiny metals. These became early forms of money. Their value wasn't from the item itself, but because everyone agreed they could be exchanged for other things. This idea changed over time. We moved from physical gold to paper money, which was just a promise it could be traded for gold. Now most of our money isn't even physical. It's just data, numbers in computers. It feels real because we all treat it as real. It's like a giant story, a shared belief system we all join. Think about a video game with its own currency. Those in-game coins aren't real outside that world, right? But inside the game, they let you buy armor or new powers. They have value because everyone playing agrees they do. Money in our world works a lot like that. Its power comes from our collective trust. If we suddenly stopped believing, if that shared story broke, it would become just paper or numbers. So money isn't just for buying things. It mirrors our agreements, our trust in each other. and the invisible connections that hold our world together. It shows how deeply we rely on shared ideas to make things work. It's a quiet whisper about the power of human belief. The myth of effortless perfection. Have you ever looked at someone, maybe online or right in front of you, and thought, wow, they just make everything look so easy? It's like they never mess up, never really struggle, and everything they do turns out perfect. This feeling, this idea that some people achieve amazing things without breaking a sweat, is what we call the myth of effortless perfection. This isn't a new thought. For centuries, people loved stories about natural genius. Artists, writers, or thinkers who just seemed to have it, born brilliant. Ancient thinkers sometimes imagined perfect forms, ideal versions of everything. Maybe that made us think perfect people existed too. But even the most celebrated masters, whose work we still admire, spent years practicing, making mistakes, and pushing through failure. Their perfection was built on deep effort, not magic. Think about a famous athlete. When they make a complex move look simple, it's amazing. But you don't see the thousands of hours they spent training, the falls, the scraped knees, the early mornings, or the missed shots. All that unseen effort, all that struggle, is what allows them to perform so smoothly. It's like an iceberg. You only see the beautiful tip above the water, not the huge mass of hard work hidden underneath. The truth is, real achievement almost always involves effort, and often it involves mistakes. The myth of effortless perfection tricks us into believing that if something is hard for us, we're doing it wrong. But here's what I found. Struggling is not a sign of failure. It's part of learning and growing. It means you're trying. So instead of chasing this impossible idea, remember that the most beautiful things are often built, slowly and surely, through honest work, and the courage to keep trying, even when it feels hard. How what you ignore still matters. Have you ever walked past something every day, barely noticing it, only to find out much later it was actually a really big deal? Maybe it was a tiny crack in the sidewalk, or a quiet hum in the classroom you just tuned out. We all have things we ignore, big or small. But here's the thing. Just because we don't see something or choose to look away doesn't mean it stops existing or stops having an effect. Think about it this way. Ancient thinkers long ago wondered about this very idea. They knew there were hidden forces at work, things we couldn't touch or always understand, but which still shaped their lives. It was like realizing the wind is always moving the leaves, even if you're inside a house with closed windows. You might not feel it, but it's still out there, doing its thing. What you ignore doesn't just disappear. It keeps going, sometimes quietly, sometimes growing larger. Imagine a small old tree in a forgotten corner of your town. For years, maybe no one gives it much thought. It just stands there, green in summer, bare in winter. People walk by, busy with their phones, heading to school or work. They ignore it. But that tree is still doing important work. Its roots are holding the soil, stopping erosion. Its leaves are cleaning the air, making oxygen for everyone to breathe. Birds are building nests in its branches. Even though people ignore it, that tree is a vital part of the local environment. If it suddenly disappeared, people would feel its absence, even if they never noticed its presence. The air quality might change, the soil might erode, and the birds would lose their home. So, the lesson here is simple but deep. Much of what truly shapes our world, our feelings, and our future happens outside our direct attention. What we choose to ignore or simply don't know about can still gather strength in the shadows. And realizing this, even a little, can make us wonder more about all the unseen connections that hold everything together. To successful January. Why everything is connected even if you don't see it. Have you ever felt like you're just one small person in a huge world? Like what you do doesn't really matter in the big picture? But what if everything is actually linked? Imagine invisible lines connecting us all. Every tree, every animal, every thought. It's a deep idea. The universe isn't separate pieces. It's one giant, swirling, connected whole. Every part affects every other part, whether you see it or not. Thinkers for thousands of years have talked about this. Ancient cultures, from people living in forests to wise philosophers, often saw the world as a giant web. They believed the moon affects the tides. Even the smallest insect plays a role in a forest's health. It's an old idea. Nothing truly stands alone. They sensed that nature works like a giant team. A famous poet even wrote that no person is an island. We are all pieces of a larger story. Here's how it works in a way you can see. Think about a forest ecosystem. A tiny beetle burrows into a tree. That tree might weaken, then fall. When it falls, it creates new sunlight for smaller plants. Those plants feed deer. Deer help spread seeds. The decaying tree feeds the soil, helping new trees sprout. One small action, one tree falling, sets off a chain of events that changes the entire forest over time. Or consider how a kind word to a friend can brighten their day. That kindness might then inspire them to be kind to someone else. It's a ripple effect, moving outward. This idea can feel a little heavy, but it's also very beautiful. It means we're never truly alone. Every choice we make, every action, every thought, sends out its own small ripple. It reminds us that we are part of something much bigger. It gives our smallest steps a quiet importance. We belong to this grand, connected dance.